And then I said to him,
It's funny because I don't actually know when it started. I think it started. Hi, everybody. Welcome back once again to the live discussion after the action. If I had a sports jingle Monday Night Football thing, I would play it now.
We should have done that.
We should have done that, but we didn't plan this far ahead. We
there.
kind of did this whole thing on the fly. Welcome back. It's the GRINWELL Cup. I'm Gus. I'm from Wheel Takes.
And I'm Allie, and I'm also from Wheel Takes.
And we are thrilled to be joined this week to discuss the NONAFINALS of the GRINWELL Cup by the Black Tower podcast, or a significant portion of the Black Tower podcast. Unfortunately, Josh could not be with us today. Daniel, Andrew, you guys want to introduce yourselves to the folks who may not know you?
go ahead, sir.
Yeah, so I am Andrew, and I don't know what that noise was. I don't know what noise just came out of my mouth, but that's what it was. All right. I am Andrew from, obviously, the Black Tower podcast.
I'm Daniel, also from the Black Tower podcast.
Fantastic.
I'm still slightly waking up because I'm professional at this. So
I'm usually asleep. It's March. It's been March for a whole year, so I think we're all...
It has been March for a
Well,
year.
it's been a very long work week.
Well,
The year that somehow lasted 100 years and also a single day.
And also no years. It's quite something.
We're like all doing the same thing that we were doing last March, but also we're all completely changed.
Yes.
We are here...
Forever.
We are here today to talk over the 9 non-final polls in the non-final round. I call it non-finals because there's 9 of them, but really it's basically quarterfinal, but there's 9 of them. So I
Ninals.
It makes sense if you want to think of it.
The Ninals.
The Ninals.
The Ninals.
The Ninals is way
I like
better.
the Ninal.
What the hell was I doing with my entire life calling it non-finals when I could have called it the damn Ninals?
That's a really good question.
That's a very good question. Here we are. You guys, have you kept up with the GRINWELL Cup at all, or are you totally in the dark on the results? There is no wrong
I
answer.
have definitely voted as much as I can.
I will admit I missed the second round of voting, but I've actually voted in every other one besides round 2.
Fantastic. There have been a lot more close votes this week than we had in the past, as you can think. Some of our earlier brackets were a little bit of a, we know this person's going to win, but we have to put them in a bracket somewhere, and we don't want to have, Min, Nynaeve, and Bair go up against each other at the very beginning of the bracket. So we're going to get there where we get there. But this week was, what do you think, Allie? How would you call the...
I just voted for that one.
Brutal.
You just voted? You may have been the 250th vote.
Bloodbath. Brutal.
It says 251.
Oh, damn. We broke 250? That's the first time we broke 250 in a poll.
250!
Thank you.
For the Min, Nynaeve, and Bair one.
Yep.
That's wild. Yeah, we this week has been a bloodbath. I mean, just absolute massacre slaughter. Just like people messaging us like, I hate you. What's wrong with you? Like, how
We received
dare
37 death threats. It's
so
crazy.
many death threats. Just rage all around.
I will admit that does say something good, if you will, about the intensity by which Wheel of Time fans look forward to Wheel of Time related things. It does not say good things about us that polls cause messages that say things like, how dare you?
That is
Dare
true.
you. I think largely they are lighthearted, how dare yous, but there might be a couple serious ones in there, and I'm just choosing to believe that they're lighthearted. But
there we go. So once they find the bodies, we'll go back through all your messages, and we'll find the ones that the language analysis of them.
Yeah,
find the ones
it's
that
good. It's all in text. It's all in print.
search there first for clues, and then just broaden your scope from there. Because I think the GRINWELL Cup, though, this has honestly gotten me through this March. Like, it's really been the thing I look forward to every day. I'm like, who am I going to vote for today?
For those of you who don't know what the GRINWELL Cup is, if you happen upon this video totally at random, the GRINWELL Cup is a series of a whole lot of Twitter polls wherein we are asking people who they think is the hottest character in the Wheel of Time. And how do you define hot, Allie?
However you want.
However you want.
You know, it could be physical attractiveness. It could be their personality. Certainly some people have hot personalities and maybe okay faces, or really great faces, but kind of meh personalities.
I was going to say, Galad does not win because he has the most attractive face and literally nothing
personality.
Nothing else going for him, right? And how often is that the case? So, or it could be that you think maybe they have a very high temperature. They're hot-tempered. They have fire in their eyes. Like, whatever that means to you.
Alzamon.
But Robert Jordan seems
He lost
to believe...
his first round very badly.
Yeah.
I was disappointed.
Robert Jordan seems to believe that everyone across the board has the same standard of hotness, and we personally disagree. So we're here to find out for real who is the hottest character in the Wheel of Time. And hopefully, as I learn about more characters, because apparently there's like 47 Aes Sedais with the first name that starts with an S that I still haven't met. So hopefully the cup will grow.
Low, yeah, it's way more than 45.
That seems right, actually. The rest of the Aes Sedai that you meet all have a name that starts with A. So
there are a lot of those.
They balance out.
You already know
Surely
several L names.
It's really awkward. They all get the same monograms on their shawl, and they always mix them up because it's like everybody has the same initials.
Oh, God damn it. Yeah. And they can't find shawls, and then Elida's pressed. Because she's pressed about something, always.
She usually is.
She's the worst.
So, we're going to go through these.
She's like every bad boss I've ever had. Just mad all the time, picking at nothing. Like,
I think in reverse.
I'm sorry, did you just insult me? Go down to the Mistress of Novices for penance.
Never had that thought before. That's not true. All right.
Yeah.
We are gonna pick it up. We're gonna go through these polls.
That was a really good impression.
From the most recent Nona-final back to the first one.
The Ninal?
I gotta stop saying Nona-final when Ninal's so much better. I don't know what I'm
We
doing.
got you.
This is why we have you guys.
It's what we do. It's the primary function we provide the community.
Yeah.
Coming up with nicknames for things is actually what we're known for.
Someone's got to be good at that. We're the knuckleheads who are like coming up with the dumb idea. Well, I'm really like the knucklehead who's like, what if we like rented a llama, a Wheel of Time llama, and we had it in the studio? You know, like that's my function. And then I need someone to name the llama. And that's where you guys come in.
I thought you just said you had stupid ideas. And that sounds amazing.
A pod llama?
Yeah.
I think.
It's easy. You name the llama Fella.
Bella the llama.
Fella, because it's a fake Bella.
That's true. That's true.
Did I mention we're really good at these nicknames?
You're really
good at this.
That's why that was on the fly. Wow. Yeah. I'm impressed.
I mean, between the three of us on BTP, we probably have like maybe 15 brain cells, and they all are really good at nicknames.
It's going to be specialized. Specialization is an important thing.
It's
a very particular set of skills.
Mm-hmm.
A set of skills that make me no threat to anyone.
Except for boredom.
When my dad and I went to see that movie together, and he turned to me afterward and he was like, I have no skills. So if you get abducted in Paris, I'm not coming for you.
Let's pick this up with...
And Allie was like, I don't think I need to worry about that. I'll just call Liam Neeson.
I was like, noted. Noted. It's made me a lot more careful because I'm like, my dad is not coming.
Let's pick this up with the last of the Ninals. Thank you again.
Indeed.
This one is Rand al'Thor versus Min Farshaw versus somehow Dane Bornhold.
We know how.
He made it through. We know how.
Poor Dane.
Poor Dane.
Poor Dane.
Poor Dane.
So right off the bat, what are we thinking? Where do our hearts lie?
Some people might find
Daniel,
daddy issues attractive. We don't know.
What do you think, Daniel?
I think a lot of people find daddy issues attractive, actually.
Yeah.
Just usually not in men, which is a little sexist, but still.
It's a shame. You got to cover the equal opportunity here.
Some people like men who drink a lot.
Yeah.
You know, with like some mental health issues.
Yeah.
Who need to see a therapist. Like that's the stuff. Yeah. Right. Who hasn't dated one?
Allie. It gives some of us hope, okay?
So we're saying that this is a runaway for Dane Bornhold, then.
Yes, obviously.
No,
For sure.
if Dane Bornhold was a woman, I think
Okay.
is what I'm saying.
Dane Bornhold's tragedy
In
is that he's
some
male.
world.
I am
In some
self-aware
world, he
enough
won.
to know that that's sexist, but also in our world, it's true. Yeah, I honestly think that one was an easy one. Min is literally stated as being particularly attractive. Plus, she has so much going on under the surface.
Mm-hmm.
And Rand, while like, yeah, in the books it mentions that he's cute. Like, it doesn't say like this hideous beast of a man who's also the Dragon Reborn. Like he has a lot of personality problems. So just on the vast majority of the categories of just general hotness, I think Min obviously wins that particular one, which is good because she won that particular.
Listen,
She did win that
I don't
particular
want to offend anybody, but I don't really fuck with dudes who laugh to themselves over nothing. Like, there
Rand
had to
does
be
do that a lot.
something funny that happened for you to earn silent laughter to
Kind of
yourself.
the state of Rand's madness where Allie is right now is just staring into the distance quietly and then chuckling.
Stop laughing.
Definitely
It's
not something a
weird.
serial killer does.
No, not at all. Totally normal
Which is
thing.
funny because again, mildly sexist, but this is a Rand problem. I would say it sounds like you'd go ahead and get married, and then later you would find out that he was a serial killer, and that you would get murdered. Except that it's Rand,
Mhm.
and he would never murder a woman.
Right.
So I think you'd be okay. It's
But-
just lots of other people that would be around.
But you'd have to
How
be
do we
okay with
spend
the fact.
$800? How do we spend $800 a month on duct tape, shovels, and concrete?
Yeah, there we go. Exactly. Like, he loves
Why do you have this big list that you keep saying every night? What's wrong with you?
Why do you keep bringing home corpses and like palpating their hearts? Like, let's not.
Right now, by the way, we're I don't know, halfway, a third of the way into Fires of Heaven. So Rand is on his way across the Dragon Wall, following Couladin,
Yes.
and
indeed.
Moiraine just swore fealty to him, which is something. I think we have to point out though that Rand, and we can pin this on Ta'Veren, or we can say it has to do with his appearance. That was terrible. I'm gonna rewind
That
the
was
live stream.
amazing.
And he's got he does have multiple women interested in him independently, which is not necessarily true of a lot of the other characters. We can call it on Ta'Veren. Does that affect our ranking?
No, because Min also has many men who are after her as well.
That's
They're
true.
just losing to the Dragon Reborn.
Well, it's an easy man to
He
lose to.
cares about him.
I don't know. Is he an easy man to lose to?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
he
We're
is.
we're all like yes across the board.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm not saying he's the hottest character in Watt, because he's not. But he is also the Dragon Reborn, and he relatively gets told, or we relatively get told, that he has a relatively well-turned calf. So
I mean, here's the thing. I didn't get Rand. Like, Rand to me was always like a little brother where I was just like, stop being dumb, like smack him in the back of the head. And then I saw this one book cover, and then Yosha got cast, and I was like, okay, I get Rand. I get him all of a sudden. I'm on board. I'm on the train. But I can't get behind the weird random laughter, you know? It
is tricky.
It's like the kind of person your
But-
mom would pull you aside and go, he's not the one.
But if Yosha's sitting in the chair and he's got one leg kicked up over the arm and he's staring off into the distance reading a book, and then he laughs, does that change anything?
Kind of, yeah.
I would go, oh, is that a funny book?
What you thinking about?
Oh,
What you thinking
how
about?
are you?
Red.
How's it go?
So you're right that this was probably our least close of the Ninals. This was Min got 2/3 of the vote, and Rand and Dane had to split the other third. It wasn't really much of a split. Dane ended up with 5% of the vote, and Rand had 28.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah,
Of course.
I notice people keep calling Min Lamp.
They are wrong. They are heretics, and they should be ignored.
Okay. I just
Don't
wasn't
worry
sure what
about
that
it.
meant.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get into that later.
Not even something that you haven't gotten to. It's just an opinion that is so categorically incorrect that you don't ever need to worry about it.
Okay.
You'll go on a rant on it later.
Okay. I'm excited.
Good.
It's a.
I like to rant about
We
things.
can talk about it later.
Tune in for our next episode where I'm going to go on a very long rant for a very long time.
The current poll, by the way, has Min in it, and it's what is it? There's like 45 lamp gifts underneath it for people voting for
That's
her.
why I was like, what's the story? What's
okay.
going on?
Okay, we don't have to worry about that.
To be fair, again, it's a situation where I don't think most of the people who think she's a lamp don't think she's a pretty lamp.
I believe the phrase "sexy lamp" is thrown around.
I believe they've been
Agree.
calling her
Yeah,
sexy
see?
lamp.
Exactly. As I said.
I'll say this is something that I have time in mind for us to talk about in a couple of books. Because we will talk about this in a couple of books.
I'm so excited.
Yes.
All right.
You're going to have a field day with men and lamps. It's going to be amazing.
So Rand drops
so many thoughts.
I will watch that episode and or maybe that set of episodes with bated breath.
Rand drops down into the losers bracket.
Wait, really quickly. Speaking of things I ranted about, Elaine is being weird to Thom lately, and I am not here. I just want to go on record again for like the 40th time to say that like I'm not here for it, and I think that we're gonna douse our book in holy water because I'm like, this is not the thing, Robert. I don't.
You guys remember that part? I don't.
Robert.
I don't remember that part.
It's uncomfortable.
I try not to remember that part.
We talked about that part on our podcast the other day. The episode hasn't come out yet, but we talked about it.
Well, I look forward to listening to it.
I think that every podcast I'm going to get invited onto from now on, I'm going to be like, okay, whatever I was here to talk about, cool, let's table it for a second.
What's up with Elaine though?
Why is this happening?
I just
need to make my feelings known. I just need to make them known.
It's a good thing.
Rand drops
it's a
down
bad thing.
into the...
it's a good thing to get your feelings known about the bad thing that you're experiencing.
Well, yes, but it is a bad thing
exactly.
that I even have to discuss it in the first place. Harriet should have caught this.
That's fair. Rand drops down into loser's bracket. We will be seeing him again. Will he make it through loser's bracket? I don't know. Only one person will. And if Danny from Weaves has her way, it will be Matt. I don't think it will be Matt, but there you go.
No chance.
Our next Ninal.
No chance.
This is a closer one.
I also don't think it's Rand, but I don't think it's Matt.
I don't think it's Rand either.
We'll see.
Our next Ninal, we have...
Could be Min.
This is
if
a close.
Min doesn't win.
This is a close one. This was Perrin, Uno, and Galad. So you actually just saw Galad, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
How's he?
Oh yeah.
He's a white cloak, which I knew was going to happen. He sucks. That's what the sucky people in this book do. They become white cloaks. I'd rather hang out with the Forsaken, honestly, than these fun.
Which Forsaken?
I agree with you. They're wrong and also fun. The white cloaks are wrong and boring.
At least their parties, you'd come back with an interesting story. You could like sit people down and go, okay, listen to the fucked up shit I did on Saturday.
You might be on the highway to hell, but at least it's a highway instead of like a fucking buggy ride to hell.
Whereas you'd sit down after the white cloak party and you'd be like, I oppressed some people and then we read some psalms. Like, no, I'm not going.
What's their book called? I forgot what the Galad was reading it.
Oh, fucking the tenets of being a little bitch.
That seems right.
That works.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of Galad. And he was like contemplating turning his own sister in, maybe, possibly. Or
According
whatever
to
he
Elaine.
was doing. Okay, fine. And Elaine's an unreliable narrator, and I understand that. But he also like sat outside of the inn like a creep and watched
I'm not
the
saying it's
room.
not what he was doing. I'm saying
Well, I mean, he has a righteousness complex.
Yeah.
So.
He does.
He's a paladin.
I was just about to say that. And no one wants a paladin on their team.
No.
I don't know. There are some fun paladins, but most of them are just.
They're good to throw up front and absorb blows. I mean, they're good meat shields.
That's what I was kind of saying. I'd rather have a barbarian, but I mean, like, if you make
Everyone
a
would rather have a barbarian.
Which brings us to Perrin.
Perrin's
on here. Before we go there, actually, I had to make that segue, or else I would have felt bad. But have you guys? I don't know if you're familiar with The Expanse, which is on Sci-Fi, and it's also a series of books. But the authors have said that part of the impetus for that series and the main character, James Holden, is they played a lot of D&D and they hated paladins, and they decided to write a book about how much they hate paladins, and that's James Holden. Anyway, Perrin, watch The Expanse.
Legit.
Chat, watch The Expanse.
Indeed.
Perrin is a closer to a barbarian, perhaps. Maybe.
I find Perrin hot.
Definitely,
He's the only one of the three boys I find like incredibly attractive. That's me. I don't know what it is.
Why's that?
He reminds me of you.
Oh, okay. Well,
Aww.
thank you. Perrin just got married. Is the last time we saw him to Fail, and
yes. And while I don't approve of the marriage, it was very hot.
you don't.
No, Fail's problematic as shit. Like, she needs to go to therapy first.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. She needs to go to, like, extensive therapy. Like, she's abusive as a spouse. I hope that they, pull it out in terms of their marriage. But, God, send her to the therapy Aja today. Today.
The therapy Aja. What color would that be?
We decided a nice lavender.
Lavender. Yeah.
Yeah. Just a calming color.
Mm-hmm.
The
PR Aja. Well, there's the HR Aja and the PR
beige.
Aja.
Beige, yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
I forget what the PR Aja is. I don't remember.
I think it's like a pink.
Anyway, and then we've got Uno.
Yeah. Who?
Dude, Uno's awesome.
He's
a mess, but I love Uno.
I like a person who can let off a few F-bombs every now and then, you know? We can hang out.
That's not Uno.
A few?
That's
I was
not
going
it.
to say now and then?
Come
Every
on.
other
A
sentence.
few?
You mean every literal sentence?
Well, that's my fucking personalities.
Every flaming word?
Yeah. Well, that's my personality. So I feel like he and I could hang. But does that mean that he's bangable?
Oh, that would be some... I mean, like, I don't want to... I feel like Uno would have some really intense bangs.
That'd be hard.
I feel like the dirty talk would be like a little degrading.
It would be very degraded.
Like you'd leave
I feel like
after and be
he'd-
like, okay, well, you need to say like a lot of nice things to me for me to feel like that was a good
No,
time.
aftercare would be really, really important. But it would be,
I feel like he would miss a
be
lot,
intense.
bad depth perception.
If
That's a
you're
factor.
far enough away for depth perception to be a problem, you're not having sex.
Hey, you don't know what they do in Shinar.
We're not here to king shit.
You're right. We're not. I apologize.
Twatcast made probably the most horrifically vulgar joke I've ever heard when we were talking about Uno last week, which is, well, he's got an extra hole, so that's exciting.
No.
And,
I was thinking that this whole time and just
No.
didn't say it.
No.
And that's the difference between Black Tower and Twatcast.
I think it is.
Is we
actually.
think it.
Oh, no. I only
One
didn't
of-
say it because
One
we
of
are
our
on
15
your show.
brain cells.
You can. It's okay.
Think about it, but
Oh, boy.
Yeah. We're like, we have 15 brain cells.
Delusions of Grendel in chat is calling Perrin #Dorito Perrin because he is shaped like a Dorito, apparently.
Oh yeah, he is.
'Cause
He
he
is,
is
definitely triangle
wedge
shaped.
shaped.
And who
He
isn't
is.
sexually attracted to
Doesn't
triangles?
love Doritos.
Oh yeah.
Who am I?
This
Oh.
live stream is
We
brought
do
to
very
you.
well in ancient
Awesome.
Egypt.
Yeah. I've always considered the triangle to be a very erotic shape. No one
Oh
else?
yeah.
I prefer the triangle. All right. Who are we
Gus,
thinking?
Are you okay?
I'm great.
I just wanna- Okay.
Who are we thinking is winning this one? Because it was close. I'll tell you that.
I to be fair, I actually would go with Galad because at that point, each of them seems to be I think each of those particular people are actually pretty one-dimensional. And so if we're going for hot, Galad wins the one-dimensional, like, physical attractiveness thing.
Well, you
And
enjoy the most
me-
boring party of your life.
I mean, I also will say that I feel like Galad is turnable because, like, he got turned to the White Cloaks.
So you're saying
turn him
you're
to-
falling into the trap of I could fix
go.
him.
No. It's just if I go to enough fun parties, he will become jealous and he will go with me to one.
Mm.
And
then
then
he'll realize.
once he goes to a good party, he will never be a White Cloak again. And if it doesn't happen, I got some really good sex, or at least some very vanilla sex with something that was really nice to look at. And we break up and I go find someone else.
Okay, that sex has gotta be vanilla.
Yeah, Galad only does
But
missionary.
it's like
as the
doing
creator intended.
It'll be like
Absolutely.
doing a
Lights off.
statue.
In the dark.
Definitely.
It'll be like
lights
doing a
off.
statue in the dark. And he will cry afterward. But like you
Perfect.
go for it.
Who do you think's winning? Who do you
Not that
think's
there's
winning this one,
anything
Andrew?
wrong with crying afterward. I don't
There's
know why I made
nothing.
it seem like you cry.
If there was something wrong with crying afterwards, I would never get it.
I don't want to cry shame. You know, like emotional expression is healthy, but
I mean,
Go ahead, Andrew.
to be fair, I kind of know who
fair.
won. So
Okay. Well, who would you have voted for? Who did you vote for?
That's like
I actually voted for Uno.
Okay.
nice.
I think he's far more interesting, far more entertaining. You'd have a much more fun time with Uno. Because I mean, the stories, the colorful
Just
language,
stories.
just it would be fantastic.
he's
you know,
also had
and
a lot of life experience.
yeah, and Twatcast does have a point. So
And let's be honest, I mean, like, of the three of them, which one's the one that's going to drink you under the table?
Oh
And
my god.
so far, the number of nights that I've had that have been the most enjoyable have been quite a few where I or someone else have tried to drink the other under a table. So, given the options, you know, you're making me lean more and more towards Uno, even though I voted for Galad.
it's not that much fun for me to drink under the table. The glass always hits the bottom of the table, and there's like gum and shit under there.
That's a
I don't get why
logistical
people
issue.
enjoy it.
Clean your tables. Jesus.
Yeah.
That's just in his house.
Galad Galad did win this one. He came out with under half of the votes though. It was a 45% of the votes. Perrin
Squeaked
comes in
ahead.
second with 37 roughly. So not
It was
far
actually
off.
not unclose.
Yeah, it was a good race. It was fun to watch. They went back and forth a few
They
times.
did. Perrin started off really strong. I was actually surprised.
Uno dropped out.
Aaron does
unfortunately.
start off really strong.
Yeah, he does.
I think they're making a joke, but I don't know. Perrin,
No, it was
I'm like,
it was.
what does that mean? I keep every time we're on with other people.
Yeah, no, it's
I keep
literally
saying
just
stuff,
when
and I'm
he's
like, what are they
introduced.
looking like?
right off
Yeah.
the bat.
Yeah, no,
He
it's,
rolls
it's
in.
just about him being introduced, and one of the first things that Robert Jordan says is like, "This motherfucker was jacked."
This guy's a tank. I just find
Perrin
I'm
armbar.
sorry. I just find the fact that he like grabs a lady and just like
He picks up
puts
Liana
her to the side.
and just
I'm like,
moves
Yeah.
her over, and she's like,
Yeah. Oh shit.
it wasn't
I
Leon.
just-
"It was Liana."
It was Liana, and then there was
Liana.
somebody else too. He did that to a maiden too. Which maiden was that?
I think it was Bane.
Okay,
it
well,
was
they
Bane.
were all turned on
Yeah.
after that. So
Bane offered.
Yeah.
Bane asked
Mark me
him.
down as scared and horny.
yeah, I'm scaroused.
Bane asked him
Yeah,
to
there you
play
go.
Maiden's Kiss right after that.
Yeah.
So
He
I'm saying.
refused though, because he was like, "I have a girlfriend," and they were like, "Damn it."
Well, he didn't know what
He
it
didn't know what it
was,
was.
so he was like, maybe later.
maybe some other time. I
Yeah,
don't want to hurt their feelings. Maybe some other time.
sweet baby.
Una
And
drops.
you know that Matt had the opportunity to tell him what Maiden's Kiss was, and he did not take it because Matt's a good dude.
Uno drops out.
That's a hose out. That's a hose before bros situation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Una drops out with 20%. He's gone. He's done for. Perrin is the last Taviran standing, but he's gone too now. He's in the losers bracket.
That felt right to me that he was the last severe
It seems
standing.
appropriate. And Galad moves on.
I also think that that's possibly true about him. Like, if there was going to be one Taviran that survived the whole thing, like if they were like, okay, there two of them are dead, and you have to pick which one lives, I think it's Perrin.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Interesting.
But Matt's so lucky.
Yeah, but he's already died once.
That's true.
Exactly.
He makes dumb decisions sometimes.
No, but again, like, you're supposed to die once. YOLO.
Okay,
Wait.
but I don't know if that
Yodo.
But I don't know if that counted. I don't know if that counted. Like, I'm like, okay, maybe that's the one that's like to die and live, but he was only dead for like a minute. I don't know. Does that count?
Was he dead?
Well, they said his heart stopped, didn't they?
Roughly.
They did.
Almost, yeah.
Did you die?
They-
Yes. Yes, I did.
But
Oh.
But did you die?
Is he gonna be one of
got
those people
shot.
that writes up like what he saw afterward? I
Matt?
went through phase in high school where I read a lot of those.
Matt would
and then
just
I had to
decline.
stop.
Matt would just deny that he died.
That's
I feel
true.
Like. I
He'd
feel
be
like
like,
Matt just doesn't talk about
I
it.
didn't bloody die.
I'm not a lord. I didn't die.
And I'm
and
also-
I'm not marrying the daughter of the Nine Moons.
And
Get
I'm
the
not
fuck
a
out of my-
hero.
And I'm like, dude,
I'm
you're
no
marrying
bloody
that
zombie.
girl.
Bloody zombie.
No bloody zombie.
That's good.
That's funny as fuck.
If I was a zombie, would I be wearing this hat and fake mustache?
Okay, so the question is, like, regular Matt or zombie Matt, what's hotter? What does it for you more?
Regular.
Regular.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Regular.
Okay. I just want to ask
Okay,
a question.
All right,
Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
Ninal number 3. We have Geidel Kane, Barrelane Sir Pendrag, and Lyanna Sharif. And I may have already kind of spoiled who won this one, but let's just talk it through anyway, just for kicks. What are we thinking? Right off the bat, we hear these 3 names.
I think it's humorous that Geidel King is in this.
Well, to be fair, his
And
round.
I did think it was funny, literally round 1, when I saw Geidel Kane in the thing. And I was just like,
He's got a
What?
great personality.
He does.
about?
But he's-
No, I agree with that. And he's a hero for the Horn. So,
Yeah.
like, come on. That's some big shit. But
He
also,
could defend
like,
your house.
literally, you're asking about hot. And I'm not saying that other things besides just general attractiveness can't be part of that. But like Geidel Kane is literally just described every time as, this is the ugliest motherfucker you have ever seen in your life. But he's also dope as shit, and Birgitte really likes him. Like, that's
You've seen
literally
Ant-Man,
all
right?
you know about
Yeah.
Geidel Kane.
Ant-Man, yeah.
Yeah. So you remember whenever Paul Rudd's character takes and gives his daughter the really ugly stuffed toy?
It's so
Yeah.
hideous.
He's so hideous. I love him.
I love it.
That's their
The,
relationship.
the stuffed toy is God okay.
And the
And
kid is
Brigitte.
Brigitte.
Yep,
Yeah.
100%.
I love that.
And Paul Rudd then is the creator?
Yeah, that makes
I think
sense.
that sounds right.
You know what?
He's
I
at
would
least
allow
the
that.
wheel.
Yeah.
He's been to the
Dude,
quantum realm.
If Paul Rudd is the creator, if he gets cast as the creator, I would be.
Okay, see,
I'd
that
be
would make
I'd be
sense because
happy
he
about that.
doesn't age. He
Yeah.
looks the same as he did in like the 90s. So you tell me, either that or he's
Right.
like
I mean,
drinking
then
the
there's
blood
also
of virgins
Keanu
or
Reeves.
something.
This looked the same
Yeah.
since like the 9th century. So
Yeah.
He's never changed.
There are some vampires in Hollywood. That's all I'm saying.
And the 3 of them are easily Paul Rudd, Ewan McGregor, and Keanu Reeves.
They
just
all
happen
look the
to
same.
just all look exactly the same as they did when they started.
Couldn't happen to nicer guys, honestly.
Right,
They all seem like really
exactly.
legit people.
we should count ourselves lucky that all the vampires are nice.
Really? Yeah, when you put it that way.
Our
damn.
vampire overlords are chill.
Yeah,
Maybe
they're
they
pretty
just,
chill.
Maybe they're like emotion vampires, and they're just kind of feeding on our enjoyment and our amusement.
Okay,
That's
so
the best kind of emotion.
Tell me you're
vampire.
watching What We Do in the Shadows without telling me you're watching What
You
We
guys
Do in the
watch
Shadows.
that? Great show. It's on Hulu.
Yes, it's such a good show.
Very silly. um,
You're saying Paul Rudd is
So
boring now.
boats. So boats are the most thing that you want to go into, but there are 3-masted boats and 4-masted boats and 5-masted.
The emotional vampires are honestly the most brilliant thing.
It's so good.
I love everything about it. Like, oh yeah, I'm a different kind of vampire, and I'm a daywalker. I'm an emotional vampire. Like, killed me.
Barrelane and Lyanna in a head-to-head. Really, I knew this was going to be a race between the 2 of them.
I voted for
Yes.
Lyanna, to be honest.
I don't know. I actually voted for Bearlane
Really?
and also was glad
Same.
that she won. Because, like, again, I really do think that Lyanna was strong contender. Like, of a lot of the other people in the book series, she was definitely one that was going to give, Barrelane a run for her money. But in the end, I think that Barrelane gets the short end of the stick a lot of the time. And again, let me be very clear. I do not like Barrelane in the slog. She's very problematic in the slog. But
luckily, that doesn't exist yet.
Yes.
No, it's okay. You can keep the headphones on.
No, you're good. That's why I said it the way I said it.
I feel like I'm gonna walk
But at the
around
same
Jordan
time-
Con with like this.
Just cosplay as a character with earmuffs and you'll be fine.
I'll cosplay as Min,
Well, I
and
can
I'll go
think
as
of
a lamp, and then I could I could put a bunch of cotton in the lampshade, and I know it. I won't be able to hear anybody. It'll be perfect.
There is a character who I can think of who has
Why
large
you hurt me
ears.
like this, Allie? Why?
Well,
Why you do this?
I don't understand the jokes, so I'm just gonna make it and hope for the best.
To be fair, it is a really funny joke.
It is a funny joke.
I just
I've
want to
been
fit
nearly
in, you
kicked off the
guys. I'm only
podcast
on
a
book
number of
5.
times for
The amount of times I've kicked Daniel off the podcast for shit like that.
Yeah.
He's
For
been
me-
fired like 37 times.
So
Gus
yeah.
can't fire me because he loves me.
And I will also
Technically,
say
I can't fire Daniel either.
Lyanna is definitely one of those characters that is a little bit problematic as well because she's boring as balls for most of her life. And she only gets interesting after she gets stilled.
What kind of balls are you messing with that are
So,
boring?
like,
Gotta play hacky sack, sir.
I mean, they're just
I
kind
was
of
gonna
there,
say
right?
bowling
Like,
balls,
what
and
do
then I
they
realized
do?
bowling balls actually have really cool patterns on them sometimes.
I mean,
can
I know
do
what
the
balls
This
do.
is true.
But
yeah.
because I
Golf,
went
no,
to
golf
health
balls are
club.
cool too. Have you guys seen those Japanese golf balls that are like
Oh, yeah.
crazy fucking designs on them?
Yeah.
I'll look it
Those
up.
are
It's
cool.
wild.
It's
Probably easier to find whenever like you drive way too short and off to the left. Definitely haven't done that in golf.
Me neither. Or really high and to the right. I don't do that every day.
I had a golf lesson today.
Allie had her
and let me
first
tell
golf
you,
lesson ever today.
I was
Oh.
great.
Nice.
Did you hit the
I've hit
ball?
I
one
did.
good drive in my
Did you
life
make the
playing
ball
golf.
go?
What?
All you need
Did
is
you make
one.
the ball go?
I did.
Nice.
It went really far, actually. I was like, she told me I was a natural, which I'm sure she says to all the clients, but it felt real.
You say
know,
this to all the people
sorry,
paying
yeah.
you money, don't you?
But
Did
because
you
I'm
had
a
a
little bit
female
like
instructor?
Egwene, I took it.
But if you had a female instructor, I think she might have been more honest with you. Because if it was a dude, I would have been like, yeah, no, he's
It was a
fine.
female instruction.
But if
so.
you had a female instructor, I would believe that more.
And she kind of was reminiscent of everyone's like favorite crotchety gym teacher.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jane Lynch.
Yes. She was
Yes,
very
perfect.
honestly, her voice was a dead ringer.
I was looking at chat for a second. Who are we talking about?
We're
We
talking
were
about my
talking
golf
her
instructor.
Okay, so
I reminded her a little bit of Jane Lynch.
I thought we were calling Lyanna a gym instructor. And I was
No.
like, oh, get here.
No, Liana.
I feel like
Liana's
Liana might
like-
have been a little bit of like a gym instructor in the White Tower.
I feel like I
now
would
that
have
she's
paid a
out
lot
of
more
the
attention
White
in gym
Tower,
if she was.
is-
Liana in the White Tower gives me like really strict English teacher vibes because she's so obsessed with procedure in the White Tower. I mean, even Swan is like, oh my god, why the fuck did I pick Liana to be my keeper? All she does is like do the, oh, here we go, it's a meeting time, let me talk about all the things I have to talk about. But then
She's that
We've
teacher
heard
that
these
ignores
announcements,
you.
Liana. We
Yeah.
hear them every time we have a meeting.
She's that teacher that ignores you, even though like nobody's talking, but you have to raise your hand first.
Mhm. But at the same time, I'm very here for Liana's sexual awakening. Like I'm very
Yeah,
here
no, it's
for
great.
it. I think
Yeah.
it's adorable. That like how excited she gets about it. Like
It's fantastic. She's like, huh, it works.
she's
Holy
like,
shit.
excuse me. I'm super hot. And then Garrett is like, I mean, I've seen better, but also but he's gonna hook up with Swan.
I've been with queens.
Meanwhile, Liana and
Freaking Grandpa
Logain,
Garrett.
one in particular.
Liana and Logain are going to be an incredibly hot couple. I believe this in my soul.
Leane
The
and
double
Logain.
L's. Yes.
That's your ship.
That's my
That's
fast
one
held
of her
belief.
like 40 hit ships.
She has
dude.
a lot.
Come on.
I'm up to like 45, so I have an
Yeah.
entire fleet of ships at this point.
Yeah, perfect.
A navy, if you will.
I am
Probably the world's
admiral
like
of my
20th
own-
strongest navy.
Yeah. I have an armada
There
of
we go.
ships.
A flotilla?
Yeah, thank you. A flotilla. Um,
There we go.
Come
let's
up with
get
more
really-
words for a series of boats.
Apparently, we've got a lot of maritime words all of a sudden. But yeah, I mean, I find her very attractive, but I think I might be biased because I'm right now in the middle of her sexissance.
Sure.
And
I like that.
Not
That is a
Renasex?
good name for it.
I didn't think about Renasex.
Renasex? Sexissance?
I like
them both.
Sexissance better.
Sexissance is better.
I actually like
Sexissance is better because if you say rent-a-sex, like some people are going to think you're saying rent-a-sex. And
Yeah, it's not good.
No.
Which, I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, again, we don't
no
kink
shame.
but also,
We don't
no.
shame.
I expected this one to be close, and it was close. But
Yeah.
Gaidelkane pulled it out. No. Yeah. Gaidelkane did get votes. Gaidelkane got like 8
Of course he did.
votes, and I'm happy
There
about
are
that.
Birgittas out there.
There are several. Barrel
Beauty
Lane,
and the
as
Beast
we know, Barrel Lane did
Can
take
be
this
a
one.
cake. Yeah, we
The
love
song
Beauty
is
and the
old as
Beast.
time.
As I say, tale as old as time. A hot girl and a man. Any man at all.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, that's like every movie.
That's
Almost
what we all
every
secretly
movie.
hope for as guys.
Almost
Yep.
almost every movie.
Yep, there it is. There it is. Gus has got it.
Liana did very nearly win, but not quite. She lost by about 12 votes. It was pretty close. But Barrel Lane moves on, where she's currently facing off against, among other people, Min, and Liana drops down into the losers bracket.
It's okay. Coquette Liana will come back.
Loser.
I could see her coming back. I mean,
She's
we
coming
If I'm being honest, this is the fact that Liana is down in the losers bracket means that it is part of why I don't think any of the 3 Taviran really has.
there's none of them is
Yeah.
going to beat
Yeah.
Liana. Not a shot.
No.
I'm not saying that there isn't anyone who could beat Liana, but it's definitely not one of those 3.
It's not Perrin. I
Well-
love Perrin. It's not Perrin.
Yeah, no.
It's not.
Absolutely not. Not if she's in the bracket.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
She's the hottie. Make hottie pants.
This one.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot we did this one. The next one is Lanfear.
This is where people got mad at us.
This is where people got really
Oh, yeah.
Egwene and Suroth. And it was kind of close between 2 of them. And then there was Suroth who got 2 votes.
Wow.
Suroth
Out of 159?
159 votes. Suroth got 2.
That's one more vote than I expected.
Were you the one? Were you the first one?
No, I was not.
I expected Pater the Dark Friend and Jarrett Bair to vote for her, and then everybody else would vote for real.
What are we thinking, though? Lanfear versus
mean,
Egwene, knowing that it's an internet poll.
The answer is I definitely voted for Lanfear because the answer to me is Lanfear. Because let's be honest, when you have Lanfear who's more attractive than Egwene, and seeing as how they're both crazy bitches, you go with the hotter crazy bitch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have some
Daniel,
rants.
What's your read
Don't
on
stick
Egwene
your
right
dick
now?
in crazy.
What's your?
But you don't have a choice. If you put it in Egwene or you put it in... Honestly, this was the crazy bitch, round. It really was. Because Suroth is also a crazy bitch. She's
Across the
least
board.
attractive of the 3 crazy people.
Yeah.
So you don't have a choice. It's 3 options of put your dick in crazy. So I went with the most attractive put your dick in crazy.
So at least
Killed by the Egwene
die with a
fans.
really cool story, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. And when
Crazy
I then
bees.
try to move on and she skins me alive, then,
Yeah. Up until recently, I viewed Egwene as like a little sister type, so still not hot. But she has done some shit recently where I'm like, I have some rants upcoming about Egwene. I mean, every now and then, she's a total hypocrite, period, like across the board all the time,
Right.
which, same.
So
And
is Lanfear.
get it. But
At least Lanfear is self-aware and does it intentionally.
That's
You're
true.
not wrong.
or
I
at
don't
least
know how much Egwene does what she
It's
does
actually
intentionally and is like completely cognizant of it.
I feel
As
like,
badass as she is.
I feel like Lanfear is just so much more capable in like she has the ability to back up her shit talking in a way that like Egwene does not yet. Like Egwene's like a chihuahua that thinks they're big, whereas like Lanfear is actually like a pretty big dog, but there are like some other bigger dogs out there that she's
All right,
fucking
I can
around
see
with.
that. Yeah.
You know, like she's got a lot of ability and a lot of power. She was like, what, a fucking physicist
Yeah.
Lanfear?
before
She was a
everything went to
theoretical
shit?
physicist.
She was like a magic assist.
Yeah, she's no dummy. Whereas like Egwene's still very much like a kid.
Yeah, I
So-
feel like Egwene definitely like later on in life becomes like a magic physicist,
Yes.
but like
That seems like a right
not
trajectory
right
for her.
now.
But right now she's
It-
like
it
a
seems like the
like a
right-
college
She goes into STEM.
physics major. And I'm like, that's not
Kind
the
of,
same.
yeah.
She's a college physics major who says she's a physician.
She's a
A
freshman.
physicist.
She's a
Kind of,
freshman
yeah.
physics major.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who says as a physicist
Who took a gap
and
year.
everyone's like, shut up.
Who took a gap
year? Yeah, took a gap year in Spain and now she calls it Barcelona and everyone hates her.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Oh my god, that's so appropriate because she did take a gap year
She,
in the waist, and
Yeah.
now she calls it the waist, and everyone
waist.
hates her.
I figured this one would be close because I
She's
know
calling everyone her first sister and everyone's like,
Oh yeah.
what the fuck is that?
Egwene
that.
is
She goes, oh, you don't know?
widely beloved. I have a tumultuous relationship with Egwene myself, depending on
Same.
first versus second read. First read,
Yeah.
loved her the entire time. Second read, it's different, which is funny.
It's different. Yeah.
Yeah. But not all bad. I'm excited.
Certainly not all bad.
Excited to
but
do the rest
also-
of it, I'd say. But no surprise that Lanfear took this one. Not to me, anyway.
How much did she win by again?
It wasn't that much. It
Yeah.
was 60-40.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Yeah. And on this, that would have been about a 30 vote margin,
yeah.
which is,
Not bad.
it's sizable. But
It's very admirable.
good for Egwene. You know what? I'm proud of Egwene for this one. She
You know
put
what?
in a good.
She's a cutie,
good fight.
and like but I think my opinions right now about Egwene are really colored by recent chapters I
Yeah.
read too. So I'm just going to be like aware of that because that's definitely factoring into my feelings
Yeah.
about her relative attractiveness at the moment.
I think
Oh, sure.
Egwene and the fact that she is as popular as she is has a shot in the losers bracket.
Oh yeah,
I think she's got a
Yeah,
shot.
yeah,
no
yeah.
question. She and Lyanna both have a huge shot.
As I said,
Lanfear won.
I don't think that Lyanna can't be beaten by someone, maybe Egwene, but she's gonna beat the three Tavir.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
Not
Absolutely.
Those
It's
boys
the
are fucked.
hierarchy of losers bracket at this point, and Egwene and Lyanna are definitely like pretty up there.
unless Dany starts campaigning hard for Matt,
Yeah.
which people have been campaigning recently for people, which has been hilarious to watch.
Yeah, the today's poll, half of the country of Norway has been mobilized on Twitter to vote for this poll, which is
Half of
fascinating.
Half the
country
country,
of
so
Norway.
like 100 people.
So like
150 people from Norway have been rallied to vote on this poll because some
Because
of our
Andrew
Norwegian
really wanted
fans had very strong opinions about two of the characters and decided to retweet it, who then retweeted it. So it's been exciting,
Nice.
actually. And shocking, nobody. Suroth she didn't even get a time of
Fuck.
day.
Yeah.
Which is fine. We don't
No
want
one's
to fuck with
upset.
Suroth.
That's fine. Farewell.
I'm okay with that from everyone.
All right, this one. This was close. Well, kind of. This was close because everyone got a decent amount of votes on this one, and this is Fail versus Brigitte versus Moiraine. So last time we saw Brigitte, what was she up to?
She's been bopping around the dream world. I guess Guy Kane is a newborn baby now. Which, he's too late. The last battle's going to be like tomorrow. What are we going to do with a baby? Useless. Unless the last battle's like 15 years from now.
It's a hero of the horn baby, though. Like, come on.
What, so they're going to yeet the baby in the battle?
Baby?
It remains to be seen.
Don't baby shame.
I'm just saying, if you're gonna pick your team, you're not gonna be like, oh yeah, give me the baby as a first pick on the dodgeball team. Or would you?
It's a small target.
You're like,
it's
true.
And who wants to throw a ball at a baby? You'd feel terrible.
Right? Exactly.
And if it's last one out, then he'd just be kind of walking around and everyone would be like...
Yeah. No,
But can the baby
all
hit
for it.
somebody? Or is somebody eventually going to be like, let me just tag this baby?
It's
Guidle Cane baby.
I know. In the end, this is Tarman Gaiden, so if it was a dodgeball game, none of the Forsaken would have a problem throwing a ball at a baby.
That's
Right? And I just feel like he's 15 years too late. And I'm kind of worried because Moghedien was saying something about, like, I'm going to make sure that Brigitte is always alone. So I feel like she's going to wait until Brigitte is born, then kill that baby.
Think Robert Jordan's gonna write that? He might.
He killed a 9-year-old like pages ago. I mean, an off-screen 9-year-old, but an off-screen 9-year-old.
What happened? I forgot what happened.
Pate!
It was the...
Pate Ibarra!
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, I always block that
what?
part
He
out.
also... Yeah, like, come on.
Family
I'm
annihilator.
not saying that Robert Jordan doesn't have lines, but that's not one of them.
We're out
Yeah.
of wine.
We're out of wine?
Yeah, I can get more. Do you want more?
Horrifying. What a horrifying thing to say.
Yeah.
We
We have also in this bracket.
I love Vance in the chat. Hashtag eat the baby.
Yeah.
Eat the baby.
I also want to point out
Eat the baby.
the comment from Delusions of Grendel, which is Allie doesn't believe in Geidel sword baby.
So is the baby a sword, or does the baby have a tiny sword?
Rafa.
I would say that's up to your imagination. That's all I would say.
I can't decide which one's funnier to me.
Why not both?
Like somebody like swinging the baby around like a sword, or this like, no, that makes me too sad. Or this tiny baby with a tiny sword, just like.
But what if the baby has a sword and they are using the baby as an extension to help the baby fight?
I just feel like that's abuse.
No, it's Geidel Cane baby.
But the baby's
This is the
cool
wheel
with
of
it?
time. Everybody is
Like the
abused.
baby thinks it's fun.
It's the
I
guy.
don't
It's
know.
Geidel sword baby. Geidel sword baby can take it. That's what he was born for. Maybe.
Maybe that's why his face is so
someone-
fucked up. Like he's being
Maybe someone has Geidel Cane.
He's actually born
as a
really,
baby.
really like as
he's
a good
really
looking
cute
baby.
with the, and
But
swinging
they
around
use him
with
in
his
battle too
sword.
much, and that's why he looks like messed up.
Oh god.
We figured it out. We figured out your
We're
tricks, Robert
going
Jordan.
to hell. Okay.
Sorry,
Oh,
Dave.
yeah, I've been on that road for a
Maybe-
very, very long time.
Maybe what happens is that somebody brings the baby Geidel Cane into the fight, and the baby Geidel Cane has a sword.
I just question
And
the
then
parenting.
they swing the baby, who then swings the sword. So it's actually just about reach advantage.
Yeah.
And it's like double swing power.
Or
I just,
maybe it's
yeah,
I
like
just feel like inevitably
he's got,
that
like, a
baby's gonna
harness,
hit
and the
something.
baby's on your back, and the baby can watch your back with the sword.
What? So he's gonna little like
Beautiful.
what do they call it?
Yeah,
Bjorn?
Bjorn. He's in
The
a
baby's
Bjorn.
in a
Baby
Bjorn in the
on the
back.
Baby Bjorn.
It sounds like a comedy like little animated show like that you would see like with Rick and Morty.
That sounds like some cool dad bullshit. No, honey, it's fine. I'm taking the baby to battle.
Well, Rand's mom took the baby.
It works for
She just
Goku,
didn't mean
so-
it.
She was pregnant
Yeah.
though. Like she wasn't on maternity leave yet. Her
Yeah.
maternity hadn't hit.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
You
gonna.
don't put the baby in the
Yeah.
Bjorn to go to battle. That's irresponsible. But when they're in your stomach,
It's fine.
just go.
No, she's got American maternity leave, so
Yeah.
it's like
She
you
got
know,
20 minutes
right up until she's
for
about to fall.
labor. Oh God. What would I had something I was gonna say, but it's gone now. Right.
No one can withstand baby Battle Cane.
Battle
Baby
Baby.
Battle Cane,
Baby. That's the movie. The Guidal Cane movie is
Guidal Cane
Battle
story.
Baby.
Battle Baby, the Guidal Cane story.
But I'm like, he's kind of born too late, right? Like, in terms of going to the last battle, I was like, what good are you? Like, either the pattern's really confident that the last battle is gonna go well, or they fucked up entirely. Not to question fate or anything, but
Well, see, his difficulty walking works in the same way that like the drunken master technique works. It's very unpredictable.
It's hard to hit.
So, you know, this Tarmogoyden, maybe Battle Baby Guidal Cane is the only one that can actually defeat all the Murdral.
save us, Battle Baby. You're our only hope.
It's very much like Baby Groot in Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yeah,
He
okay.
just dances on the edge of the battle, just dodging everything by luck and dance moves.
Yeah, and then,
While, you
yeah.
know, Rocket and Star-Lord take care of the action.
So who are Guidal
Maybe
Cane's
Ellie-
Rocket and Star-Lord then?
Maybe this is like a Trunks.
Arthur Pendrag and Brigitte. That's
But she's not born
who are-
yet. But I guess
who are
Matt
the-
can toot that
Yeah,
horn.
he blows the horn.
Blow Gabriel blow,
What?
and then she's
who
there.
are the whole Guardians of the Galaxy? Because clearly Brigitte is Gamora.
Brigitte's
And
Gamora.
Arthur
Obviously.
Pendrag is
Star-Lord?
Star-Lord. So who's the weird, like, not actual human creature
Okay.
that's on the side of the light?
Episode collab idea.
Wait, you mean
just,
Drax?
I'm,
You talking
No,
about Drax?
Guidal Cane is Drax.
He has to be Drax.
I'm
Yeah.
throwing it. I'm throwing an episode collab
Well, I'm
idea
fully
out
behind
here. Watt characters as Marvel characters. We just go
it's-
through.
Yeah, I've done that on our Instagram before.
You-
We've
Well, I
cast
feel
the
like we should do
entire
it.
Avengers in Wheel of Time, but I would come back and do the whole thing again
Let's do it again.
because it's probably changed since last time I did it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I think it'd be fun.
There have been more Disney Marvel television shows that have come out that have changed my opinions of people. So maybe they're different Watt characters now.
Tomorrow's Friday. That's the next episode of
Falcon
Winter
Falcon
Soldier.
Winter Soldier.
We gotta watch that. Here's a question, Allie. What if it's
Yeah.
a Trunks scenario?
What?
A Trunks scenario.
What?
from
You're
Dragon
saying
Ball
that
Z.
like I know what I'm what you're talking about.
Ooh.
Trunks from Dragon
What?
Ball Z.
Oh, okay, you're saying that like I've
Trunks
watched. You
Dragon
saying
Ball
that
Z.
like I was
Yeah, no,
a kid that
he's
watched.
saying
Trunks
that
from Dragon Ball
Trunks
Z.
gets born in Wheel of Time, but then he comes back from a future in the future
Mhm.
to fight in the last battle as a teenager because his parents are getting fucked.
You know what I just realized?
What?
Dragon Ball Z had time travel more correct than Back to the Future did.
Yep.
Okay,
They were
well,
already on the in-game train with time travel. Well ahead of their
I
time.
watched Dragon Ball Z up until there was that bug guy that would like sting you and
Cell?
suck all the shit out of you.
Cell.
And then I was so
Yeah.
afraid
So
of that
that's-
I couldn't
that's
watch it again.
literally-
Cell, the
That's
second best
literally the
villain
time we're
in
talking.
original DBZ.
Yeah, I was so traumatized by watching that episode I couldn't watch it again.
Please
Chat-
tell me that your favorite is Majin Buu.
How could it not be Majin Buu? He's ridiculous.
You at least got to watch
That
the
was
Team 4-Star Bridge series for Dragon Ball Z. You get pretty much the story, and it's a lot funnier.
Okay.
It's true.
All right.
Anyway.
Anyway, so we had
You're
we
a
had
monster, bitch! I drink people.
Birgitte, Fail, and Moiraine. We were gonna talk about Birgitte, and then we just went on a really, really long thing about Battle Baby Guidal Cane, which I'm totally
Yeah.
That was
happy.
That's funny
completely
because Brigitte
relevant
went on
to
a
the
really, really long thing as well.
because when you're factoring in Brigitte's hotness, you are taking into account that Battle Baby is a part of her baggage that she comes with.
Allie didn't even hear that.
I didn't hear. What was it?
It's all right. We're
No,
gonna move on.
no. Say it again. Say it again.
No,
say it
no,
again.
you can watch this later.
No, I'm not gonna watch it later because you don't let me because people chat
No,
spoilers
they don't.
sometimes.
It's fine.
Go. What?
I'll tell you later.
What they say.
So
I'll tell you when you're older.
Yeah. Yeah, of course we're talking about Dragon Ball Z. You don't like Dragon Ball Z? What's wrong with Dragon Ball Z? It's ridiculous. So, ow.
Yeah. I actually voted for Moiraine in this one.
Yeah. A
Nice.
lot of people voted for Moiraine in this one.
Yeah, about 30% of them.
Yes.
I think Moiraine is I voted for Moiraine. She's a dime.
It's tight race.
I voted for Brigitte because Brigitte's my girl.
See, I was a little
Fail.
biased for Rosamund Pike because I love
I mean-
Rosamund Pike.
But we don't
she-
have an
yeah.
actress for Brigitte, so that's an unfair comparison. So
I didn't say it was fair.
Yeah, we know what we have.
The Grinwell
I never
Cup is
insinuated this
not
was a fair
when they
decision.
cast Brigitte as Jennifer Lawrence, I'm gonna lose my shit. So like,
Well, I just heard what you said. It's not the worst thing in the world.
it wouldn't be, especially
Coming this
given
fall,
how
Katniss
well-known
Everdeen
she
is.
She's
for
got the
shooting a-
bow.
Exactly.
Yeah, it makes sense. Huh.
Could be good.
I'll buy it.
Right?
What was I gonna say?
I'll buy that for $1.
We've got Fail in this bracket too.
Yeah, Fail needs to go.
Believe it or not,
Failgate is over.
Failgate. She didn't do that bad. She got 20%.
Yeah, which is about 18% more than she deserved.
She's a bit problematic.
It was.
I'm not actually giving her 0% because
You
she's
give her
not
2.
like
Yeah.
terrible. I mean, sorry, she is terrible, but she's not irredeemable. But 2% sounds about right.
Yeah, she gets some votes, and I was happy for that. The Moiraine fans. This came out the same day as the Rosamund video by accident.
Did
So,
it?
Yep.
I'm sure it did. Gus, we're on to you.
I posted
By
this
axe.
at 4:25 on the 21st, and then the Rosamund video came out the next morning. So,
So we know someone on the inside,
That's not true.
obviously.
is that true?
We
Maybe-
need to have a conversation about this person that you know on the inside.
I might be wrong. Maybe I'm
Actually,
wrong.
we might know
We
someone
might
on the
actually
show.
know someone on the show. We're not sure yet. It hasn't been
It
confirmed.
hasn't been confirmed, but we
Um,
actually might know someone.
Anyway,
Okay, so you and I are gonna have a conversation.
yeah, we can talk.
We'll
about
talk about it after.
Brigitte did win this one. I was pleasantly surprised. You know, I agree. I
Again,
love
she
Moiraine.
gives hope to all the ugly gentlemen.
Yeah.
Everyone's just like, she likes ugly dudes. Thank you.
Got a shot.
We love you
But
too.
Moraine's never dating an ugly dude. That's not happening. And Fail's all about guys who are Dorito shaped. So, like, come on.
Who is Moiraine dating according to you?
Tom.
Tom. Okay.
Oh my God. Eye of the World. We're reading it again. And I'm like, excuse me. I even didn't pick up on some of the heavy flirting that's happening right now in the Eye of the World.
I thought Thom was dating Elaine.
Oh,
Yes! Yes! All right.
The
now
bird
we're
double-
gonna-
No, that is exactly the sound she. Nope, not making that joke. Not doing it.
Don't do that.
Not doing it. Not doing it. I regret everything about what just almost happened.
bad.
That was a choice.
This is why it's nice recording
Don't do
episodes, because then I could just
Dale.
make that disappear.
I mean, she, like, he takes out some knives and she giggles. Like, when does she ever giggle again? I'm sorry. Excuse me. The sexual
I mean,
tension's
she
coming.
does also have to deal with Rand from then on, and I wouldn't giggle ever again if I had to deal with fucking Rand.
See, I have to watch what I say about Rand because people get mad at me.
Fuck.
That's true.
People get mad at me. They, like, write me really long blocks of text, and I'm like, I understand he's doing his best.
I agree with that, but he's still a depressing
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah. He's, like, not a fun guy to be around sometimes. Like,
In fact, again, let me be very, very clear. Of all of the characters in Wheel of Time, I don't think Rand is the hottest, but he is the one I relate to the most and is my favorite. So I'm not even like trying to bring him down. I think he does a really good job with the absolute clusterfuck of shit that he has to deal with.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean he's not depressing.
Rand gives me like very early on, like veteran with PTSD vibes, and
Yeah.
those are people that like I, for the most part, tend to get along very well with.
yeah.
Right?
Rand brings out all of my maternal instincts. So it's a lot of, like, don't talk to me
I
or my
just
son
wanna
ever
give him a
again
hug.
vibes from me.
Right.
Yeah. I think that
Like, I feel like Rand would actually be really good at cuddling afterwards. Because he just needs that.
not if the last battle were
Just
coming.
constantly needs that.
Honestly, like, he wouldn't
Would
even
have
want
time.
any of that. He would just want the cuddle.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
he just really needs, like, some physical touch.
I don't know if you trust the cuddle though.
But in the, yeah, his head the whole time,
Depends
he's
on
like,
who it
she
was.
doesn't mean this cuddle.
Depends on who it is. I
Yeah.
feel like I could convince Rand that I was sincere in my cuddle.
He would think the Min's cuddles were real. He likes Min.
How did we get on the?
He digs her.
Yeah.
How did we get here?
I don't know. Brigitte took this one. Moiraine, aka everyone's mom, comes in second. She drops down into loser's bracket.
Oh,
and
no.
Fael's gone. She had a good run.
Thank God.
She had a good run, but
Thank
she's
God.
gone. All right. This one was evil. This is Lan,
Yeah.
Amis.
Fuck you for this one.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Lan,
I mean, I
Amis.
love you, but fuck you.
It's okay.
Yeah.
That's the point.
That was a lot of people's feelings.
Lan, Amis, and Avienda. What are you thinking, Andrew? Right off the bat.
Do you know me?
Yeah, but for those who don't.
Oh, yeah. Considering that my Twitter name is Avienda's Not So Secret Admirer.
Is that you?
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was you.
Yeah.
That do be me.
Yeah, it do.
Yeah.
Hey, doobie doobie doo.
To be fair, though, I did honestly expect that Lan would win.
I did too. I won't
I
say
am
if I was
pleasantly surprised because I am an Avienda fanboy. I will definitely admit to being a complete and total fanboy over Avienda. So it is completely fully biased. Anytime Avienda's there, I'm like, yep, that's the choice.
That's it.
Yeah, unless it's like who should not be in the Wheel of Time,
Well, then who would you vote for if you had to pick one person on that poll?
On that,
Oh, who should
I
not
voted
be
for
in the
Avienda.
Oh, no. Of who should not be in. Across all the
Gawyn.
characters. You pick one person
Gawyn.
you can live for. Gawyn.
Gawyn, Duck Sauce Packet Boy, bye bye.
I hate him so much.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of love for him in this house
No.
right now.
Much to John's
Who?
dismay.
I don't know him.
Oh, right.
Wait, what?
Does John have John has the tattoo?
Yeah.
Or yeah. Have you
Yeah.
seen the Gawyn heart tattoo?
Yes, and I don't understand.
There's a lot to love there.
supposed to
No. No, there isn't.
Daniel from off.
The only people who love him are Elaine and Elaine.
And Galad.
And for now, we don't know. We don't know the trajectory. Fine, the Tricans love him, and that's it. You have your family, and that's it.
Because the Tricans understand him. None of us understand him. That's really the problem. All of us would think that Gawyn was great if we had just grown up like royalty.
If we
Yeah.
just
I
lived
mean-
his experience,
Ugh.
exactly his
growing
experience.
up, Galvin was always the one that was right there with Elaine and like doing a mix of like joining her shenanigans, but also keeping her safe. He's like the intermediary between Elaine and Galad.
I just feel like
It just makes him fucked
I
up.
don't know if he actually like joined in with Elaine. I feel like the entire time he was just being like, Elaine, this is stupid. We should not do this. But he went along with her because he was like walking behind her, picking up after her like the whole time. And so he didn't even join in this. It was one of those situations where it was Rand and Matt, but Elaine and Gawyn, where Matt was gonna do it anyway.
Mhm.
And he just convinces Rand that he's gonna do it anyway. And so Rand is like, all right, well, I guess I'm coming with you, not for the shenanigans, but to make sure that you don't die. Because
Yeah.
these shenanigans are a
So
mess.
Galvin is a nice friend that follows his drunken friend around
Yes.
the bar, picking up all the stuff they keep dropping and knocking over.
Accurate, yes. And
Yeah.
they like leave that when they leave, they pay their tab. Like with the credit card they have on file. They're not gonna pay with their own money. But like they make sure that they actually get their credit card that they have on file back from the bartender, and their ID and their purse that they left on the chair as they were leaving. Yeah, it's
Yeah, I would say, like, in fairness to
and then
Gawyn,
Galad's waiting at home, sitting on a chair, and then when they walk in, he turns on the light and goes, "Do either of you know what time it is?"
I'm still listening, but it is my time for refill.
I would say, in fairness to Gawyn, and this is the only fair thing I'll say to Gawyn, is that he's probably just very fucked up from the fact that when he was like 2 years old, he had to like swear an oath to protect Elaine over her cradle. Like, that's a lot to ask of a child.
Right? Which is why he walks around the bar after her being like, I have to make sure
Yeah.
she doesn't die.
I literally swore an oath when I was 2. Like, could you imagine? Like, I don't know if you're like an older sibling, but my sister was
Younger,
born when I was
actually.
2. Okay, so my sister
Yeah.
was born when I was 2, and like I can't imagine my parents being like, So you're going to care for this child. And if anything happens to her, it's your fault.
Dude, I can't even imagine having that the other direction. Like, if one of my sisters came to me when I was younger and was like, so I swore an oath to protect you for the rest of your life, I'd be like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Untake
It's
that.
called
Like, stop
parentification and it's abuse.
So Avienda
So obviously,
Yes.
is
Avienda's great.
is a maiden of the spear, or was.
She's amazing.
I will say the Aiel representation in the cup to this point, they're really doing quite well.
that's what the
Avian-
Aiel are hot.
They're really cleaning
Of
up.
the
Period.
named Aiel, a lot of them are particularly attractive.
That's true.
And also, like, not just attractive, they also seem like they're very protective, which is nice. Like, it makes me feel safe. And also, if I didn't vote for them, they might kill me.
They might kill
So,
you.
like,
It's the triple crown. Covers all the bases
it
there.
is. Yeah.
And Avienda, it's no surprise to say, she ended up beating Lan. Not
No
by-
surprise.
not by a
I was
ton.
surprised.
Well, no surprise to
I-
say after this conversation.
Oh, I was surprised.
I actually voted for Lon. So I would have appreciated him winning, but I'm not surprised.
So is Andrew about to fire you for the 30th time today?
No, I already told him who I voted for, and he was like, I can see that. But also,
Yeah. I
Also-
said earlier, I expected Lon to win.
I
Lan.
did too. Yeah, you can call it whatever you want. I don't care.
If I had gone ahead and voted for Avienda, I think Andrew actually would have had a problem with that, because he'd have been like, mine, bitch. And then
Yeah.
Step off.
Get back.
So-
he just appreciated your honesty.
So Andrew, this is the best day ever for you because Avi beat out Lan, and she moves on to the
in
semis.
fact, I legitimately think that each person in the Black Tower definitely ships one of the three, a different one of the three of Rand's ladies. Because Andrew is hard Avienda. I am actually pretty solidly Elaine. And I would not be surprised at all to find out that Josh is pretty solidly Min.
Gus shared with me that he hates Elaine.
I didn't say that. I said that I have a very complicated relationship with the character.
I have a very complicated relationship with the character too.
I like
Mine trends
though.
towards the negative.
I
Mine's
like
I agree with Lesby. I
I
agree with Lesby
like-
nerdy. Like
personally.
Lan's poetry is really good.
Jenna, yeah.
I
Jenny's
like
right.
personally that all of the characters are a little bit like tough to like sometimes. Because everyone's a little tough to like sometimes.
Jenny's
You
right
know?
that
That's like a good character.
Lan has that passionate,
Je ne sais quoi.
flamey romance kind of hotness.
He's got a je ne sais quoi.
He's got that rock level, like stoic stare.
But
Like
not
the
in a way
smolder?
that's like, I'm fucking the statue of David. You know,
No.
like a Galad would
Plus,
be.
he also has a way bigger dick, so
Probably. Probably.
I told Gus
I
this story on the
apologize.
podcast. No, I told Gus this story on the podcast. one
no.
time. When we went to go see the Statue of David, me and my family, there was this guy walking around the museum, like videotaping all the penises in all of the paintings and like zooming in on them. And like my brother and I were like, we feel like we should call the police, but we don't know what we would report.
I mean, since you're in France, you can just report art crime.
Yeah.
And they will arrest that.
And then I remember
Yeah,
we
100%.
walked into the Statue of David. My sister's first comment was, I'm not impressed.
Yeah, you're not supposed to. You're not supposed
Yeah. Well, because back then, wasn't it like small was kind of hot? Wasn't that a thing?
I haven't read much
to.
about
Actually,
Renaissance.
Daniel,
answer-
we need to go back.
Not that there's anything wrong. I'm not body shaming. I'm just saying.
so fun fact, the original David actually had a way bigger dick. And the church said that it wasn't.
Oh,
So it got changed to a much smaller penis.
that sounds like something the church would do.
ruining
Yeah, no, it
everybody's
doesn't-
fun.
Renaissance.
You mean the
era.
early
Real
church
quick,
is
one
it
of my-
known for making the best decisions?
Yeah, of course. Really quick, one of my favorite stories about the church getting involved with stuff is that there was this sculptor who was literally like commissioned by the church to make a statue of Lucifer. So he did, and he made him super attractive.
Yeah, he made him Bible accurate.
Yeah, because he
He
is.
did.
Yeah.
he made him super attractive, and the church was like, no, we're not putting this up. What the is wrong with you? Lucifer is supposed to be like, they actually wanted him to be human. Like, they didn't want like demon Lucifer, but they were like, we don't want people to look at Lucifer and be like, yeah, no, that's what I want. Like, make him. So they took away that guy's commission, didn't pay him, and then paid his brother.
Oh, that's so shady.
Again. And the guy made the statue again even more attractive.
Like the early church is definitely Claw Frollo, not Frodo, Frollo from Hunchback of Notre Dame.
100%. Yeah. Some priest was, all of the priests looking at that Lucifer statue were like, dark fire, hellfire.
Choose me or you will burn.
Walking in your church and going, so Lucifer, what's up?
Like, yeah, we got saints, whatever. Check out Lucifer.
Lucy, how are you?
Which, to be fair,
just love the idea of a priest walking up to Lucifer and being like, Lucy, what's going on?
What's up? You're so
to
cute.
be fair, if you guys have watched the new television, I mean, it's not new, but like the television show on Netflix, Lucifer is amazingly attractive.
Those fans are rabid.
Fans are obsessive, though.
Rabid.
Dude, Thom Ellis is so good. It's such a good show. If you guys have not watched it, add it to
I heard
your
it's
list.
good.
All right.
I would not necessarily say throw it to the top of your list, depending on what else is on there. But it's a really good show. And you should watch it.
We're watching the show that Alvaro Marte is in.
Money Heist.
Money Heist. Nice.
Yeah.
Which is just dumb enough that you don't really have to pay attention, but it's good enough that you still want to.
My dad every night is like, we're watching Money Heist today.
Being like Logain.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
And I get it.
Every time he does, he plays the main villain. For people who don't know this show, it's about folks breaking into the Royal Mint of Spain and holding a bunch of students hostage.
Sorry, the Royal Mint of where?
Spain.
Barcelona.
España.
Spain.
España.
España.
Oh, sorry, we're not Egwene. My bad.
And,
I mean, like, you say you relate to Rand. Uncomfortably, sometimes I relate to Egwene. Such a tryhard.
And it's set in España.
Yeah, it's set in España.
But the main villain is played by the guy who plays Logain. So every time he does anything, I turn to Allie and I go, a man who can channel. And it was funny the first 3 times, and we've watched 15 episodes, and I'm still doing it.
Gus has this habit of beating jokes to death.
Just beat the joke to death, and eventually it'll be funny again.
Eventually it's funny again.
I don't know why that happens.
Let me just tell you, we had this game as a kid that was called Careers. And you landed on a place, or on like one of the squares of the board at some point, and you got an opportunity knocks card because it was all about getting jobs and like doing.
Sounds like a very capitalistic game.
It was so capital. Like, it was made in like the 40s. It was super capitalist. But anyway, my father, every time we would play this with my family, would go, opportunity knocks. And I shit you not, that happened every time. You land on this square, or like one of these squares, like 50 times a game. He did it every time we played this game. And I appreciate the man's commitment. He
is a man of commitment and sheer fucking will.
That's a beautiful thing.
So
we're here for
dumb when I was a kid.
I love these polls with Avienda because anytime Avienda's in a poll or something, I always get tagged.
Good.
And I love it. I love it.
One quick thing before we move on to the next poll. I just want to say, Amis has something going on though.
Oh, she
does. Because Ruarck is hot as fuck. And they had that like stare down when they first saw each other again, where I was like, oh.
Strong feelings.
Something freaky's going on in their life, and I love it for them.
Yeah. Well, also, she's just got a bad matchup, I think.
This is a dope-ass wise one, who's basically just, like, the more mature version of Avienda. So, like, again, She doesn't get as much screen time as Avienda, like different things like that, and all of those are factors in this. But like, Amis is, yeah,
she could get it.
I
thought she should have done better.
Against these two, I'm not.
Yeah,
surprised.
I mean, that was a tough bracket. That was a tough bracket.
I mean, if Amis had been in a bracket with like, Geidel, Kane, and Uno, she probably would have destroyed.
Well, that's how she squeaked through to the non-finals in the first place.
Her first bracket was Pater, Samael, and Amis.
So that was a good matchup for Amis.
I forget what the justification for that one was.
We needed to put the name somewhere.
I also appreciate...
Was that our bucket round?
I appreciate that Samael doesn't need to lose that round, but he chooses to.
Samael is the hottest Forsaken.
I could come back without this giant scar across my face, but no, it reminds me of how much I hate Luz Theron.
So I'm just
keep
it.
And you're like,
I'm gonna pitch this. Samael's the hottest Forsaken male I've met so far. I'm pitching it.
Yeah. Asmo?
All right.
He's so moody. I feel like it was everyone I dated in like middle school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They could all play the harp.
That's impressive.
And that was like every guy I dated. No, I'm just kidding.
Every guy I dated could play the harp.
Every guy I dated in middle school played the harp. It's not that impressive.
I actually went through the entire band of harp players. There were 6 of them, and I just one right after the other.
I have a type.
Deep bench. I don't know.
I have a type, and I committed to that type.
All right. So. Next final is Grendel versus Bane and Chiad as a single entry.
Yes.
Versus Egwene. You've just met Grendel, right?
Yes. And she made quite a lasting impression on me.
Yeah.
Listen.
There's something wrong with you if Grendel doesn't make a lasting impression on you.
If you're like, same shit every day. Like, I feel as though, personally...
way too much time on FetLife if Grendel doesn't make an impression.
Speaking of Grendel, Delusions of Grendel in the chat is pointing out that Ravin looks like Idris Elba, so you can do better.
Okay, I'm sorry. Maybe I like a guy with like a cool little scar.
You like the scar?
I think it's kind of cute.
Okay.
Like maybe it's me.
I'm gonna hide all of
there's where you can use the saying, a knight in shining armor has never had his metal tested.
Yeah.
There you go.
I don't know if that one applies
to the scar. It doesn't, but we're gonna go with it.
Idris Elba has definitely been tested.
For sure. I love Idris Elba.
Scar is kind of hot. Like I don't know.
That's not bad.
I'm like that person's lived.
Right? Yeah.
Grendel, Bane, and Chiad, and Egwene. Where are we leaning? Grendel, obviously, you cannot ignore Grendel. It is impossible to ignore Grendel.
Because if you do, she will compel.
I wanted so badly to yes queen her, but I couldn't because consent.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I have to be consistent.
And,
I have to be consistent in my messaging.
Brain slaving people is
but
not that.
So I went with Bane and Chiad because I also find all the maidens to be incredibly hot. So
it is an interesting thing where, again, she is not always consistent in this, and I'm not gonna spoil anything here, but
Appreciate it.
Grendel does seem to have a little bit of a thing for like Robin Hood complex of like, yeah, she does not ask for consent, she does mind slave you, but a number of the people that they talk about her mind slaving are really not good people before she mind slaves them.
That's true.
So like, again, I'm not saying she doesn't use it all the time. And I'm not saying that even bad people should be mind slaved. But like at the same time, it's a little bit of that, yeah, but if these people are shitty people, is it as bad that they're not people anymore? I don't know. I like
it's like the Dark Knight.
I don't know enough
about the Dark Knight scene.
I don't know enough about the people yet.
I would say if she has to pick to mind slave people, it's better that she's mind slaving shitty people.
It's kind of like
better
Dexter.
That she's it's not great that she's mind slaving people, period, but it's better that she's mind slaving shitty people.
And so if you are Dexter and you know that you have this proclivity to murder, the fact that you choose to murder bad people is better than the alternative.
Yeah. The
Even
first
though you're
two
not the
seasons
hero
of
this
Dexter
story, 'cause
slap.
you have to murder people.
We had when I was in Catholic school, we had a very, very long, I think because my teacher was like maybe tired, but we had a very long discussion about the moral implications of Dexter and whether or not it was right. Whether or not it was right to murder people who were murderers.
Oh, what class was this?
My religion class.
Okay.
Best religion class
It's
ever.
an interesting question. It really is.
It's an interesting question. Like, is it right?
My D&D group got into this discussion because they were tracking a mass murderer who was killing people who were paying off other people so that they didn't have to get killed because they were also murderers. So it was like justice on justice on
I
justice.
think Gus just glitched
That
out.
is like, I don't know who actually is wrong here.
Yeah,
So do you
It
let
was
it go?
so-
Do you let it go? Or are you like,
You let
okay,
it
whatever,
go.
fucking kill them? Like, that's the question. Yeah, so that's what
especially
Dexter's
'cause, again,
about. And the first two
especially
seasons
again-
are very good.
Grendel.
They are, yeah.
So that's Grendel. Grendel's Dexter. I like that.
So Grendel's Dexter,
That's a good point in her
Yep.
favor.
which I
yes.
didn't know. I didn't know that those people kind of suck. Well, now that puts a lot. I mean, I'm still going to be very pro consent. I'm just like it does put an interesting moral conundrum.
Watch out. That's the
does.
power button on the
I'm not
computer.
going to touch the power button. Okay,
The stream is cut. Bane and Chiad. What do we think?
hot. Period.
Yes.
Done.
I
What? That was involuntary. I apologize.
Yeah, no, I like Bane and Chiad. They're good, but they're like loyal to a fault. And that is a little bit problematic to me because even when File's wrong, they're like,
What are you
"No,
talking
girl,
about?
you're
Loyal never goes to a
absolutely
fault
what
line.
is Right.
I don't get it.
I don't understand your reference. It's you doing it.
That was a really good impression. Also.
Very
Do you want to join Gus on the podcast so I could do
Yeah,
some
let's do
voices
it.
back and forth
Just call me in for voice episodes.
for
and I'll-
voiceover? Yeah. I mean, I think. I don't know. I find those two really interesting, but maybe it's because I find the maidens as a whole very interesting.
You do.
Yes. No, and
I
that's-
came out as pansexual during the pandemic. Everyone knows. I say it all the time. But and so everyone's like, shut up, Allie. But the
whatever.
maidens in particular, I'm like, I don't know, warrior queens, I'm always here for.
Yeah.
There's something about somebody that could kill me with a thought that I find inherently arousing.
That's
a
what
thing.
I'm
That's a
saying.
real thing.
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
completely valid.
Again, they definitely say that pain and pleasure are very, very closely related. So, I mean, again, fear and arousal are also very similar.
They're both really good cardio. So
Also accurate.
We
Yeah, I voted for Grendel in this one. I was definitely a fan. And then Egwene, I like her, and she's cool, and she actually does some really fun stuff. But also, she's like
Kind of a prude.
she never gets over the tier out of boring character.
Mm.
Like, even though she's really close to the border.
okay.
I don't know. To me, she just never becomes something that's like, oh yeah, write home about Egwene. She's dope. It would be like, oh, Egwene did something cool. Do I write a letter to my parents about, or in my weekly letter to my parents, do I write about Egwene? No, I'm okay.
I love that there's a
I'm
weekly
gonna
letter
nod knowing
about the Wheel of Time, which I don't know if they've read. They're like, that boy's reading Wheel of Time again.
Andrew, who did you vote for?
That boy's reading Wheel of Time.
Bane and Chiad.
Bane and Chiad?
Same.
Nice.
Because
Yeah.
they're Aviend adjacent, or because they're just cool?
I'll be Jason.
Oh shit! I got to think of a good reason.
You don't need a good reason.
I mean, my thing is like whenever I was looking at these, if I got down to a hard, well, for all of them, I tried not to just vote on like who I think is the most like physically appealing.
Certainly, yeah.
And I'm like trying to take into account like their character traits and how interesting of a character they are. And like, is this somebody that I would prefer to be like, if I was dating these people, would I date them long-term or would it be like a one night fling because I only find them physically attractive? assuming any of them would be interested in me, which they would.
They would.
Consent.
Which
No,
they would.
it's the beard. They block all this off and just look at the beard. That's it. But I was
I feel like Bane and Chiad like looked at Perrin and were like, if Fael wasn't hitting that,
yeah.
Oh,
But I mean,
yeah.
They
we
definitely
can't do that
fucked
to
Will
our
Alcine.
to our
Oh.
sister, our dear sister.
They still
Definitely
fucked Will Alcine.
Definitely.
Oh,
So clear.
100%.
100%. 100%.
Absolutely.
After
So Will Alcine has been beyond the Dragon Wall.
Actually, I'm pretty sure that they just played Maiden's Kiss with Will Alcine.
Okay, we can go with that. But I'm gonna say they
But
definitely.
it was a 2-person Maiden's Kiss, and so it got boring after a little while. So they needed to like heat it up a little. So it never actually got to like the whole thing. But like they definitely made, you know, when you're like playing spin the bottle and it gets really boring, so you like up the ante just a little bit, but it's not 7 minutes in heaven.
Mhm.
Like there's a tier between those two. Yeah, that's
I
what.
mean, as far as I know, the rules of maiden kiss just say whoever's the best kisser. It doesn't dictate where the kiss has to be.
That's
did
true.
I mention?
So
Hang on.
it depends. Do you want to play
Hang on.
medium difficulty or hardcore mode?
then I want to know why everyone didn't vote for those two.
They did win though. As much
Yes.
as I love Egwene and Grendel, I kind of thought Grendel would win. I'm not upset that Grendel didn't win. As much as I love
Me either.
Grendel, if anyone's gonna beat Grendel, I'm happy it's Bane and Chiad. They are.
I feel like they'd probably have the best chance against Grendel too.
Absolutely.
She'd be so confused.
Yeah, well, the thing is too, if you remove channeling from the equation, then she's just there, mostly naked. You know?
Hang on.
Okay.
I mean, if you remove channeling from the equation, I doubt she's there just mostly naked.
I don't know.
Hang on.
Because like, unless it happens, like once she shows up, and that seems unfair.
There was this.
Hang on, what?
I'm saying she definitely goes for an effect.
That's true.
And there's
Oh,
a
yeah.
certain magic
No,
to that.
Oh, there is.
Well,
Oh,
channeling or no.
Why do you think I voted for Grendel? There's a magic there.
George Martin wrote a short story where he put Rand in a sword fight versus Jaime Lannister. This is related. And he decided that he wanted Jaime Lannister to win, so he just had channeling stop working after 5 minutes. And that's when I put the story down, because it's George Martin and I was bored. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, that sounds about as long as I can go ahead and read George R.R. Martin.
Grendel drops down into loser's bracket. Bane and Chiad are in the semis, tri-finals, whatever. And we have
Trinals.
Yep, that's the
The
yep,
Trinals.
God fucking damn it. Yep.
All right, we're going to call you every time we need a name for something.
It doesn't work for all of them, but when you have 9 and try, if they end in I, it's just set up for you already.
We need a name. I know a guy.
The Trinals.
Daniel.
Yeah. Hey,
Daniel,
listen.
give us a
Here's
name.
my question. The knockout round, the loser's bracket is 6 right now.
Sure.
So I'm doing hexafinals.
Hexinals.
I actually really like the hexafinals. Like,
Hexafinals.
that sounds epic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the obvious is sixels, but
don't like that.
doesn't actually have finals in it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't work as well as hexafinals. Plus, again, just hexafinals sounds like this is like a thing. Like, this is an intense thing.
Implies hexagon.
It sounds like something like a competition you would see on like ESPN, like right after
Yeah.
like MMA.
Finals.
I
Yeah.
inhaled my own spit. Sorry.
You know what else it sounds like? It sounds like a dueling magicians or dueling wizards.
Ooh,
Because the hex
The
is cool.
hexafinals.
that's true.
Hex is cool.
So
Yeah.
is that the Harry Potter version of MMA?
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah.
Except that it's not martial arts, it's magic. Oh, yeah, no, it still works.
Yeah, it totally
Mix
works.
both.
Magical arts. Mixed magical arts.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's great. All right. We've got we've got 9. God damn
Are
it.
you okay?
I inhale a lot of spit. Nynaeve versus Logain versus Thom.
Yeah, I voted Thom on this one because Thom does it for me.
Thom fucks.
Tom fucks.
Thom fucks.
As we
Tom
say on our
fucks.
podcast, Tom fucks.
Yeah.
Like everywhere. Everywhere he
I mean,
goes.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I will say that some of that is just his job. I will, like, credit where credit is due. He travels a lot, and people get really excited when a Gleeman shows up, and he is a Gleeman, but he's also the best fucking Gleeman anyone's ever seen in their entire
Well,
life.
as we
That
know,
helps.
he's a
Like-
master bard.
Yeah, exactly. So Thom definitely does it for
He's
me.
a
And
master
especially-
bard. Then can't he murder Aes Sedai with just making Yo Mama jokes?
If he wanted to.
If he wanted to.
If he found
If
one
he wants,
to
okay,
murder.
okay.
Just
Well,
viciously-
Moraine's going to give him a list.
viciously mock Elida to death.
Wouldn't we love to see it? Wouldn't we love to see someone actually take her to task?
I still absolutely love that about like magic users in D&D. Wizard studies really, really, really hard for many years to get their powers. Sorcerer innately born with the ability to use magic. Warlock makes a pact with someone to go ahead and get magical abilities. Bard insulted someone really hard when they were young and they died.
It's a good skill. It's a good
It's
skill
so
to
good.
have.
I love it.
It's an important skill to have.
Also, just like, again, the things that Thom can do with his hands,
He's dexterous. He's deft.
he's so dexterous.
It's
Just
true.
walks up to him. What else can you make appear and disappear?
right?
Yeah, that's it.
I get
Yeah.
Thom.
That's it.
Yeah.
I've
Thom is-
always gotten
I get
But do you
Thom.
sympathize with
But I re-get Thom.
Would you like to see a magic trick?
The retominin.
I can make this tower disappear.
What about Logain, though? Speaking
That's
of
who I
magic
voted
tricks,
for.
Oh, he is
Yeah,
so
and even
fine.
I voted for
Logain
Logain.
fucks.
He's
Logain
fine
fucks.
as wine. Like that.
Currently,
ooh.
he's wandering the countryside sad with Logain, with Lyanna and
With
Swan.
Logan.
With him sad.
Oh, he's
don't
a
know.
hottie with a body.
Just see Logain now looking into a mirror. What are we going to do?
Is
They
Logain
stole it from us.
right? Is Logain have the same madness as Rand? Because if that's true, then he's absolutely walking around the countryside with Logain.
That's a good point. He might be. Yeah, we don't know. We haven't gotten
Was
into
it
the
just like
he hasn't been doing a lot of laughing to himself, which
what
I
was
think
that
is a
movie
good
with
sign.
Jim Carrey where he had multiple personalities? Me, myself, and Jane, or
Yeah,
what was the movie?
Is it Earl?
something like that.
No,
Me, myself, and-
Google, do your thing.
Right? Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
Irene.
I feel like I shouldn't
Irene.
Google Jim Carrey. Yeah,
Myself,
me, myself, and Irene.
Yeah. That's what I thought, but for some reason I thought that was a girl. But no, I'm an idiot.
I really expected this to be a big Logain win, and not only because I've been watching Money Heist, but also because I mean the character.
I mean,
he's
Navarro Morte is.
he's broody.
Ooh.
He's got good hair. You know, he's a
Dude,
fascinating
and like again,
I think this is the one that
Rand
nobody
has
would
a
be really
hard-on
mad
for him.
at who won.
at anybody. I know. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you to
'cause
everyone
I
in
could,
chat.
I could
who
see
was
any
saying
of them
Irene.
winning.
Well, who
Yeah.
you voted for Logain, Andrew, and Daniel, you said Thom.
Yeah,
Allie?
both of us were wrong.
I voted for Logain.
Yeah, we were all wrong. Nynaeve won this one.
I
Yeah.
couldn't
Yeah.
believe it.
It fascinated me a little because I don't really like a woman who's gonna walk up to me and beat me over the head with a stick.
Break a broom over my
Like,
back.
Don't you kink shame Daniel?
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say we don't kink shame on this pod.
I just don't. I love
That's a
Nynaeve.
South Carolina tradition right there.
Whoa, hey, no. I said I didn't like it. If
Yeah.
that's
I
what you're
know.
into, get a woman to walk up to you and beat you with a stick. I'm fine with that.
I-
Do what makes you scare aroused. I don't care.
I love Nynaeve, but I've never really thought of Nynaeve as like super hot. You know, Logain.
Which is
I
funny.
think. Yeah. Go ahead.
Because like there are a number of people who think exactly the same thing, and it's like a dance night, and they start dancing with Nynaeve, and they're like, "Oh yeah, Nynaeve's a woman," and she's
That's
like,
a thing.
actually
That does
cute.
happen.
But then
Forgot
like
about
the next day they wake up and they're like, "Oh yeah, Nynaeve. It's just Nynaeve."
It's Nynaeve.
Oh.
So I guess she just kind of sneaks up in. I love Nynaeve. Again, she's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
I just didn't think she'd. I thought Logain. It's Logain. How would Logain not win? But no, Logain drops
Right.
into.
I think the thought of Nynaeve and Lan together is appealing.
Oh, very. Very. And
Yeah.
Zoe Robbins is a gorgeous human being.
And Daniel Henney.
Not as attractive as Daniel Henney. I mean,
Nobody is as
Oh,
attractive
I
as
think
Daniel.
they are both dime pieces, and
Oh,
I
I-
cannot wait for them to.
I didn't say that wasn't true. I just said not as attractive as Daniel Henney. But Daniel Henney is like on my list of
Of
Yeah,
I'll-
the
I'll
list.
pass.
Yeah. The list. I get you. The list. Anyway.
the list.
the
The
list.
list.
yeah,
We have actually made it all
the
the way.
same sex doesn't count list.
Obviously.
Mine is apparently just Bucky Barnes. Anyway, we have gotten
Oh,
to.
Sebastian.
Yeah,
Sebastian.
he's beautiful. We have actually made it to our final Ninal. That rhymes! Holy
The
shit!
final Ninal.
I didn't even need to do that.
You're
we've got to
learning.
You're getting there.
Our final Ninal.
Yes,
Here.
my
Your
young
impact.
Tom's gone, unfortunately. I'm sorry, Tom, you're
Yeah.
gone. Logains and losers. Nynaeve is in a
Sure, he'll
semi
be back.
that is running right now.
Let's talk about what's coming up.
Well, let's do the final Ninal.
Oh,
Gonna
this is
say
our
that
final
as many
Ninal?
times as I can.
Uh,
The final
With one
Ninal
last one, because we've done 8.
is Aludra the Mat Slayer, because she beat Matt in prelims.
we couldn't believe it.
Rourke,
I mean, she also probably slayed Matt a couple of times.
maybe. And Morgaze.
I hope so.
So right now, Aludra just showed up in the circus.
Mm-hmm.
I knew she was coming back. I knew it.
Rourke is hanging out in...
Wait. Oh, yeah. It was confirmed. Never mind.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, did we confirm that? Because I was, the minute the
The
circus showed up,
podcast isn't quite there yet.
and they were like,
But
oh,
you are.
and we have an illuminator. I was like, it's Aludra, period. Who else is
They
going to be?
named
Tammuz?
They
Excuse me.
named her. Of course she's coming back.
Yeah.
Eh.
She is incredibly attractive, and she could light shit on
Just
fire.
wait for Samuel Hake to show
Enough
up. again.
said.
And then
Yeah, there we go.
Morgaze is currently being compulsed, whatever.
Lord Gerbil. Lord
By-
Gerbil.
Lord
Gerbil.
Gerbil.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, I hate that for
Did
her.
I mention 14 of our 15 brain cells are dominated by nicknames?
As it should be.
Nicknames?
I like Lord Gerbil.
Have we
That's
mentioned
good.
that? Like, that's our collective resume.
Yeah.
If you want us to review your product, we can make really cool nicknames for it. That's about as far as we can go.
That's important. That should be
I
done.
liked this product. It did what it said it would do, and here's the fun nickname for it.
I think we had an entire 6 hours in the Discord where in one of the channels that you had to choose to be in, we just spent 6 hours making up brand names for adult themed items from the characters of the Wheel of Time would make.
It happened. It definitely did. Allie, you
And
can't see
it was hilarious.
I can't see it.
I will.
You can't
I
see
will
it
read
yet,
it.
but
That
Gus,
sounds amazing.
It's
You
way
can-
back. It was a while ago,
You
but
can pull out a number of them to share with
Ah,
Allie that don't
pull
ruin
out.
anything. but unfortunately, Allie can't see the entire list.
No,
'cause there are a
that's
couple.
fair.
I can never see anything cool. I'm at the point where everyone's like,
Hey.
you can't see this. And I'm like, yeah.
Allie
Probably.
somehow stumbled into a
What
full
else
spoiler
is new?
Discord the other day, and then she was like, "Hey Gus, can I be reading this?" And I was like,
No. The funniest part was I wrote it in the chat. I was like, hey, I don't think I should be having access to this because I didn't see anything. I just saw people kind of laughing at something that Danny on Weaves had said. And I was like, oh, and in my head, because I'm self-absorbed, I was like, oh, this is a channel that I can see, but Danny can't. Obviously. Somehow they're going to keep it spoiler free for me.
No.
But Danny can't see it. So
Why
I
would
wrote,
that exist?
but then I was like, maybe that's not right. So then I wrote in the channel hey, am I allowed to be in here? And Gus ran from downstairs. He ran up from downstairs was no. And I was like, I didn't see anything. I just saw oh, haha, Danny thought this thing that, and I was like, oh, I already knew that was a haha, Danny, because I had already gotten there. And so I was like, oh, well, this
Should
channel's
I be
safe for
looking
me
at
then.
this? You just hear a bowl shatter and someone.
That's basically
it
what
was
happened.
essentially that. I heard him
just hear Gus scream in slow motion.
it was a stampede from the Lion King.
Because they were talking about, there are three things, I think three that I've said, if Allie doesn't learn this, if she doesn't figure this out, the podcast is a success. And they were talking fully.
If I don't figure it out?
If you don't figure it out or get spoiled
not
on this.
Figure it out. Yeah, that's get spoiled.
Then
Wait,
the podcast is a success.
Well, can I figure it out? Or?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yes, you can. Of course you can. But I was like,
because I'm a genius.
If Allie is surprised by these two or three things, the podcast is a success. And the channel was talking about one of them in great detail. And I
didn't see it.
It was great. I know. I'm very happy. Anyway.
Well, because I saw the thing, and then I was like, oh, this is a
ran
channel
so
that's safe
fast.
for
That
me.
is
And
why
then
I
I
ran
went,
so fast.
well, maybe not. And then I typed, and then Gus sprinted his ass into the room and like took my phone away. And I was like, it's fine. And he was like, I'm muting the channel. I'm muting it right now. And I was like, okay, I'm sorry. Like, I just wanted to know if it was safe or not.
So Aludra,
like
Ruarck, and Morghese. And this is...
Yeah, I went with Ruarck.
Ruarck,
the
yeah.
Aiel are hot.
Who did you vote, Allie?
Ruarck is very
Again,
hot.
the Aiel are really representing big time
Ruarck is
in
hot.
this poll.
Period. Done.
Ruarck, flat out.
Very into Ruarck.
I probably also would have voted for Ruarck if I could have voted. I can't vote because I post the polls.
He's hot.
Indeed.
But,
But
know,
Morghese is hot too.
You
And
not have a
Aludra's hot
personal
too.
Twitter that you can go ahead and vote
I
from?
do. I just don't use it.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. I probably should use it.
To be fair, it's funny because I think that Josh votes from both the Black Tower podcast Twitter and his own, unless Andrew does it first.
I mean,
because sometimes
It's
Andrew
okay. We
will
have
vote for the Black Tower
users.
podcast one and then his own. I sometimes when I actually go in, I'm usually like defaulted to the Black Tower podcast, and then I go to the poll and it's like, you've already voted, and I'm like, no, I haven't, but okay.
I mean,
And then I have to go to my personal one, which
to
is
be fair,
fine.
we all have equal access to the Twitter.
Yes,
It's
but
just
Josh
one of
and
the three of
Andrew
us gets to
jump
it a
on
lot
that
faster.
immediately.
My only advantage is time zone.
That helps.
Yes, that's true.
Who did you vote for in this one, Andrew?
I voted for Ruarck.
So we all voted for Ruarck.
And he
Ruarck.
somehow still lost.
No, he didn't. He won.
No, he didn't.
Oh, he didn't?
He won. Yeah,
He won.
Ruarck. This is a close one. I was pleased that this is a close one. Ruarck had 42% of the vote, 150 votes. Do the math if you want to. Aludra had 33, and Morghese had 24.
Yeah,
So, good.
that seems appropriate.
Good
That
race.
was actually a pretty solid race.
Good race. Morghese got here, by the way. She left a trail of bodies behind her. She murdered her own
sounds
daughter.
I mean,
about-
she is a
daughter.
queen, so
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
She knocked out Elaine and she knocked out Swan in the prelims.
That one
Yeah,
hurt.
the Swan I'm not
personally.
surprised about. Elaine, I'm a little surprised.
Really, I find Swan to be interesting.
Swan is interesting, but that the interesting and hot to me don't equate to each other always.
Well, and that is where our types
the kind
differ.
Well, that's why I was going to say Swan is very much someone that I would like to hang out with, not someone I would want to be in a relationship with. Because she's that kind of interesting.
I think for you it must be the unrepentantly powerful woman thing. Right?
Sure.
Oh,
and
I love
that's
an
great.
unrepentantly
Yeah.
powerful woman. Period.
See, but that
Done.
gets really, really old in a relationship where you're supposed to be equals.
That's true.
That's the problem.
That's true.
Is that I would never feel like I was actually equal with Swan in her head.
Yeah, I suppose.
You know what? She can be the boss of me all she wants to.
I mean, it's all
okay
personal
with it.
preference.
That's great.
She
That's
deserves it. She is awesome. She is the queen. She is mother. She can tell me whatever she wants me to do, and I will absolutely be a brat for her.
Fair
Period.
enough.
End of story. I love women in power. I celebrate women of power. I am attracted to women of power. Like, end of story.
I agree with you to a certain extent because, like, I am all for women in power, period. I am not necessarily for certain types of people in power. Not just
Well,
women.
okay, we're
People
all
in power
skirting around a
in
Lida, right?
My relationship.
We're all just
'Cause I
skirting
don't
around
want
being like,
Elida
Elida
or
sucks,
Swan.
right?
I don't want to date Elida or Swan. I don't want to go for a drink with Elida. I want to go for a drink with Swan.
So you're like, I'd hang
But
with
I
Swan.
do want to date Elaine, and she is very much a powerful woman. So
Mhm. That's true.
Again, it's not about power; it's about the personality behind.
So what you're saying is like, you're like, Elaine, I will be your poor, like no problem.
Oh yeah, I would be Elaine's house husband in a
Yeah.
second.
There we go.
Um,
It's an important distinction. It's an
It
important
is.
distinction.
Yeah, I'm not
So-
being Swan's house husband, but I'm being Elaine's house husband.
That's fair.
We're in.
so, more gays. Ruarck won this one. Aludra drops down.
Speaking of being Rourke's house husband,
I would be
Oh,
Ruarck's
everyone
husband.
would be
Yeah.
Rourke's house husband.
I would
Dude.
be Roof Mistress. I can't though.
I would be.
You know
Ruth
what?
Mistress in a heartbeat.
We'd figure it out. You could. You know what? As I tell my students, you can be anything you want to. Queen, king, whatever you want. Roof mistress, whatever you want to
It
be.
can't be yours. Okay. Aludra.
I think you don't believe in yourself hard enough.
I wish.
Yeah.
I think you could
channel that roof mistress energy.
I
and
like
you just
Leane.
run your
Okay,
life like
Leane
it.
is real cool.
Leon is
I'm not gonna take cold rocks away from Leane. That would be unfair.
the way Leon handled Cold Rocks was objectively hot.
Gus, maybe you and her just co-roof mistress Cold Rocks. The Aiel are changing a lot of their ways. Maybe
true.
it's time to be sister wives with her and co-roof mistress Cold Rocks.
Put it on the table.
I feel like
There we go.
I feel like
See?
Wraith is open to male roof mistresses.
See, I don't want to take the power positions away from the women, but
Fair. That's fair.
yeah, I don't know.
But if I was chosen,
But
If Ruarck
Ruarck
asked me to.
lays
If-
a
if
If-
Avienda
no,
proposed and was like, "You're going to be the roof mistress," I'd just be like, "Bet, just tell me what you want me to do."
If Ameeth and Leon wanted you to, who are you to say no?
no, yeah, I very
That's
much
it.
say no to that.
Avienda could hand me a stick and I would accept it as a bridal wreath.
Here's this stick.
Could I give you this stick in these trying times?
I take it.
Let's look ahead. Let's see what's coming up.
We all know who actually would be giving the stick in that relationship.
Yeah, Avienda.
Yeah, I was gonna
Using
say.
one of the old halves of her spears.
But you're one of the people that she likes that she's giving it to, not
Yes.
Yeah, so she might spit on it a little bit
Yeah,
first.
so she would give it, instead of giving you the pointy end, she'd give you the other end.
The blunt end.
Yeah, the
Hopefully.
blunt end.
Hopefully.
Either way, it's hot.
Currently running on our Twitter as we speak is the heated battle
The
between
trinals.
the
Trinals.
between Min Farshaw, Nynaeve Elmira, and Barrelane. And as of this
That's a good matchup.
It is.
as of this very second, it is a point,
Oh my god.
it is a 0.4% difference.
And
between
Min pulled
Min
ahead.
and Nynaeve. Min pulled back ahead of Nynaeve.
This
Oh,
is
I need to reload the
wild.
page.
264 votes cast from this morning. It'll be up until, I guess, Wednesday morning.
And Barrelane
No,
started.
what's
Someone
today?
voted
Today's
for
Thursday,
Barrelane
Saturday morning.
too.
I voted for Barreling.
36.4 to 36 to 27.7% spread. So this is very much anyone's game still. If you are watching and you have not voted, do go vote.
it.
Please. It
Don't
is
let your dreams be dreams.
just
Do it.
do it.
Do it.
I'm happy with how this one's going.
How?
because,
What's the rest of the week gonna look like?
rest of the week?
Tell me.
Well, first of all, who do we see taking this, knowing that it's anyone's game right now?
I think it's Min. I actually think Min will take it.
Mhm.
But in the end, I would not be surprised if Nynaeve does. I don't actually see Barreling winning, even though she is, again, a very good contender. And I personally voted for her. I think it'll be Min by a very small margin. But again, Nynaeve is such a well-loved character that she has such a good chance, even if I think that in the end, Min will win.
If
I'm
you-
almost directly opposite. I voted for Min, but I think Nynaeve is going to win. And I'm not going to be upset if
Yeah.
Nynaeve. I mean, if Min had to lose to somebody, I am happy if it is Nynaeve.
If you had asked me before this poll, I would have thought Barrelane had it. But now I think it's so tight. But and I'm not going to say who I voted for because I'm afraid for my life.
We have a whole Discord channel committed to this discussion, and it has been
contentious.
Tense.
Oh, I believe it.
People get very passionate about polls.
Lots of fighting gifs. Lots of.
Well, and to be honest, of the Wheel of Time characters, we have actually found that Barrelane is one of the most contentious characters. Because again, I'm not saying that I'm right or that like the Black Tower podcast sort of understanding of Barrelane is correct, because it's all opinion and it's all subjective. But like, we definitely don't think she's as much of like a floozy kind of like flighty person as a lot of people in the fandom really see her as.
Oh, I don't think
like
she's...
the fact that Barrelane like ends up in these discussions as just like a hot piece of ass who really doesn't have a whole lot else going for her is like, I don't know if we read the same books or if you just haven't gotten to certain books or like what is going on.
Yeah, I think
Good job, Kage song.
Good job. Exactly. Welcome.
I think
I'm not saying you're wrong if you vote for Nynaeve. If they were in different polls, I would vote for Min and Nynaeve. I just can't vote for both, and I gotta vote for my not a lamp girl.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think Barrelane's a very nuanced character. I understand a lot of the criticism of her character. I think especially though through where Allie is right now. About a book and a half ago, you said the one person I would love to see the inside of their point of view is Barrelane.
Yeah, I think, and that's
I was very
so
concerned until
you
finished that sentence.
Inside of their head.
Would you like to see the inside of her common room?
And I mean,
oh,
we can talk about other things.
Such a low blow.
But I think that she has had to do a lot to survive, and I find that really interesting. I definitely don't consider her to be like a floozy and I always have issue with, I mean, obviously my favorite character is Elsie Grinwell because she's unapologetically horny. And I'm like, we should celebrate a woman who's unapologetically horny because they have to endure a lot in society. And I think it's like a radical act of joy. Just like I think it's just a radical act of joy. So I'm like, you go. But, so I think that, she knows what she has, she uses it. And a lot of it is in the interest of her own survival. And I find that really fascinating. I also think her head would be a very sad place to be because she has to be calculating all the time.
When you finish the series, let us know. We'll do a whole episode on Barrelane.
Yeah, because I find her really interesting. I don't know if we ever get inside her head, or if we just see her from the other women's perspective. And I think certainly the other women throw her under the bus.
Is this a Cranberry song?
Which one?
Is this a Cranberry song redone by Bad Wolves?
Barrelan's head.
Barrelane.
Nuance.
Hot nuance. Yeah, we talk about hot nuance a lot in our podcast because it's like hot takes. But I'm like, listen, like so much of hot takes take away from like the actual interesting nuance of the situation. Even though it's like the less interesting stance a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But I find Barrelane to be really interesting from a hot nuance perspective because I'm like, okay, well, how much of it is like the other women punishing her for being hot? And being and I'm not saying that like...
Too much of it.
I also hate the idea of like
too much of it.
Women pitting themselves against each other. I'm like, let's all support each other. It's hard enough to be a woman without constantly attacking each other. But I think what?
Ugh.
What?
I said, ew, being
I
nice
know. Gross. But I think.
Oh, be careful. You're popularizing being human, like a decent human.
I know it's.
Sorry,
I'm pretty inherently gross. But I don't know. I find Barrelane to be a weirdly sympathetic character in a lot of ways. And maybe later I'll change my mind and then I'll be like on the anti-Barrelane train. Because I'm pretty early in her character development, but I don't know.
I doubt she will be anti-Barrelane.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I doubt it.
But I feel sorry for her.
I doubt you'll be it.
I feel so sorry for her because I'm like, what has she had to endure?
To the people that are very like anti-Barrelane, or as Danny was alluding to, the people that see her as just like some like light skirt floozy, like you got to look more critically at Barrelane and understand where she comes from and understand the motives of why she does a lot of what she does and the reality of what actually happens with her. So,
and I think I also,
to be fair to her character, there are a number of times where she actually plays up being a light skirt floozy because she wants certain people to not take her seriously.
Yeah.
And because she wants to be seen as someone who isn't a threat, so that when she actually becomes a threat, you don't see it coming.
Yeah. And I also think, I've gotten in some like pretty knockdown like lighthearted but also knockdown arguments with Gus's mom about like women on Survivor using their sexuality to get ahead. And I'm like,
Yep.
I think it sometimes has to do with like what wave of feminism you're on too.
Yes.
And like, I don't know. I think when it comes to survival, use whatever tools are at your disposal.
Yeah, for Barrelane especially, I think she's in her situation with her whole life. I mean, how many Firsts of Man have been assassinated?
Yeah.
Loads of them.
And I wanted to say also, yes. And so she's constantly like threatened, and probably very aware that like she's one like bad flirtation away from death. And then also my other thing is I agree with what Lesby said in the chat, like sometimes there's a little bit of like pitting women against each other in this book, which I'm like, it's not untrue necessarily that like there are certainly women out there that view other women as competition. And that's a hugely problematic thing that happens. That is a big discussion amongst women, especially right now. But like as women as a whole, I think it is problematic to be like women are catty or like women hate each other or like women are threatened by other women, because I'm like, on the whole, it's not true. It's just there's like a vocal minority of people that perpetuate that stereotype, and I think it's kind of unfortunate that it's so prevalent when it comes to Barrelane. And I'm like, if it were like one woman, I'd be like, okay, yeah, that's like a facet of that woman's like external feelings about themselves. Like that's more about themselves and how they see themselves. Than anything else, but it's like across the board, every woman who meets Barrelane who isn't Moiraine is like, fuck Barrelane. And I'm like,
though at the same time,
Jesus.
I will throw out there that this is part of the problem in some ways of the important events are what you see in a book. You don't see the situations where they show up in this place and everybody who's already there goes, hey, watch out for Barrelane. She has a really bad reputation. And immediately everybody goes, oh, I'm going to trust that.
Yep.
Because she wears these low-cut dresses and these very tight-fitting things. And so, yeah, she absolutely does have a bad reputation. And I'm seeing representation of that bad reputation when she walks in the room, which is cementing the rumors I've heard about her bad reputation.
I mean, this is one of the things that makes Wheel of Time so fantastic.
Yes.
Is you have these characters like Barrelane, and regardless of the reason why RJ wrote characters the way he did, the fact of the matter is you have a fandom now that is very open to these kind of discussions, and you can use things that you see in the series that are problematic as ways to have that conversation that we can all relate to. We've all, most of us that are a fair few number of us have finished the series, and everybody else is reading through, which is an incredible resource for those of us that have already finished the series, because you remind us of a lot of stuff that we don't think about as often or, have forgotten or whatever. But we can use these situations as ways to have an actual serious conversation about, okay, I get it. In the time you were writing these, this was the popularized view of women to women interaction. We see that that's not accurate or fair, And so let's talk about it so that we can get rid of that perception. And I think when the discussions come from that point of view, it's really good. It's really helpful. And it is a way to use something that brings the entire Wheel of Time community together to talk about things that are very serious and very important in our societies across the world.
Mm-hmm.
So when that happens, it's great. Whenever it's just all anger and shit posting and we're going to call everybody every name we can think of from the books and outside of the books, then you're not helping anything and you should crawl back in your hole and be quiet.
Yeah. I think what I want to address in a conversation that's going on in the chat is that, like, when we call these women floozies or bitches, we're not actually actively calling them floozies or bitches. We're repeating the commonly
the rhetoric within
rhetoric within the community that has been levied toward these women, which is inherently problematic. But like, that's not the view that we necessarily hold, especially I think in particular about Lane. Like, we have not.
I love Bair.
I personally really like her.
I
personally also really like Nynaeve, and they remind me of women I am or women I know. But I think it's a common rhetoric that's levied against these women that I think is important to address in terms of the terms that are levied against them that I don't think are necessarily. Like, I don't think Matt is ever criticized for his sexuality in the same way that some of the women in this series are. And, like, Matt fucks.
Not yet.
In this... What?
Not yet.
Well, okay, fine. I mean, I don't know. But, like, we meet Lane, and from the beginning, even though we haven't seen her engage in any sexual activity until Rand. Which, I mean, I have my issues about the way that she comports herself in that situation because I think she disregards his nose, which I don't like. But like, the women immediately make an assumption about her, and because they're the narrators, I think a lot of the time people take what the narrators have said as like face value and then like repeat that as if, you know, calling her light skirt or floozy, as if that's fact, and people will take that as fact because those are the narrators we love. Much like I got burned with fucking Gawyn and Elaine telling me he was such a great fucking guy, and then he goes and stabs me in the back. So, you know, I mean, I think and I think that there are some people sharing their like middle school time experiences, and unfortunately, like, I didn't have those same experiences. I was very much ostracized in middle school for being a woman with a big chest. And like, I think that's lovely that there were middle schools out there where people were very open-minded. It was not my experience. I had a lot of women who hated me for various reasons, but I'm also like very much about supporting other women. So it's like, it's a complicated discussion.
Yeah. I should also mention, I wasn't saying Matt's not fucking. I'm saying that we have not yet seen Matt be chastised for it.
Yeah.
That might happen later.
Oh, no, Matt's definitely fucking. We've seen it. He was naked. Mm-hmm. Unless it got interrupted, which would be unfortunate. But, now, I mean, it seems like it's been confirmed.
We do actually have two other trinals to touch on.
Yes.
We have Lanfear versus Ruarck versus Bane and Chiad. A lot of Aiel in this round.
I think that's a tough one.
I think it's also a fairly difficult one. But
sorry, who are they again?
Lanfear.
I heard Bane and Chiad.
Lanfear, Ruarck.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you heard Bane and Chiad. Bane and Chiad.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Ruarck again on this one.
We're thinking Ruarck.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could see Bane and Chiad taking this.
I'm voting for Ruarck. I actually think Lanfear is gonna win.
I see.
But I think it's gonna be close between all three of them. I think it'll actually be Lanfear, Bane, and Chiad and Ruarck in that order, but it'll be very close.
I'm thinking Ruarck, because given the option to not choose the absolutely obsessive beyond different things, kind of like ludicrous, maybe not stable-minded person.
Maybe not stable-minded person? Please.
I mean, I'm trying to make sure because don't always remember exactly when certain things happen, so I'm trying to make sure that I'm not spoiling anything.
Yeah.
Because I like Allie and Gus, and I don't want to be barred from coming back because I spoiled Allie on stuff.
Back. Don't worry.
You just won't come back until we get past that part. No, I'm just kidding.
So because of that, and because I try to take that into account when I'm voting on these polls, I wouldn't be surprised if any of them won. Neither of the 3 or 4 technically, I guess, would be surprising. But I have to give it to Ruarck just because of the character that he is, the kind of things he does, what we see about his character throughout the series. And, you know, if a miss can't make it into further rounds, she at least deserves to be able to, you know, stand with Ruarck.
Get her proxy. You know. Yeah. Have her proxy in there.
I think
her trophy husband.
I think that throuple has it going on. Those 3 are a lot. That's all I'm gonna say.
I would join. I would make it a throuple.
Yeah, if they were like, we need a 4th, I would be like,
couple?
Would you like to go and have a little throuple?
Yes.
Yeah, 4th and 5th,
Yes.
Gus and I are there. Period. They have so much to teach us, like across the board.
I really could see this going any direction.
Honestly, I've decided that I'm not even going to try to predict
Bane and
because
Chiad have gotten so much love.
so much
love, and as John
And
O'Joe
they
and Thom,
deserve it.
John O'Joe and Thom pointed out, they also have the benefit of there being 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we're voting for
Seems
twice as many people.
a hair unfair, but also like again trying to not do both of them.
Yeah,
at the same
how
time.
do you vote for
How
Bane
do
or
you-
Chiad?
Yeah,
It's also like no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
I think Bane is the
It's almost like
slightly.
putting. Oh wait, I can't say that.
I
My,
think
my
Bane
head
is,
for some reason just went to Batman Bane, and I'm like, no one cared who I was until I put on the veil.
Yep,
No one said
must
who
be
I
more severe.
was
Well, I made the
until I
Bridal
became
wreath.
first sisters with Chiad.
Yeah, I think that Bane seems to be the slightly more alpha one, if we're gonna use like wolf pack terms. Like she
Sure.
seems to be the slightly more like she gets the
Yes,
final
if-
say on things.
If one of them is gonna threaten Perrin's life, it's gonna be Bane, not
Yeah.
Chiad.
Because Chiad, like with Will Alcine, Chiad was the one that turned to Bane to like ask her. And I think it like kind of seems to happen a lot that Chiad is sort of the second, the beta of the 2. But
It might just be their personalities. I mean,
I think
Chad
so.
might just
Yeah.
like not. She might just like not being the one to make like the decision.
Yeah.
And because she trusts Bane so much that she's like, "Hey, I trust you to make the decision. I don't want to do it, so you do it."
Daniel, you're
That's
raising your
me
hand.
in relationships. I'm Chiad.
You're Chiad. Yeah, I think
I will look at you and go, he's hot. Yeah. And then if the other person in the relationship says yes, we're doing it. But like I'm not gonna be the one who goes, we're doing this. Get ready.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to be that person at all. Because if I'm wrong, I won't complain about it. But it's also not my fault because you're the one who said yes.
yeah, I think it's one of those
You
things where
can't
I'm
complain
kind of
to me either.
trying to differentiate their personalities a little bit. So I'm like reading
Yeah.
a little bit into some of those interactions too. Where
I
I'm
like it. Yeah.
what's the dynamic here? Because I hate the idea of having them be like 2 interchangeable women.
Yeah.
But
no.
at the same time, it feels like, their whole shtick is, you can't have one without the other. So we kind of felt like, well, you got to kind of put them together then.
Yep.
Plus, I think otherwise on their own, they probably wouldn't necessarily do as well as they're doing, just based on where I'm at in the books. But I'm also finding it really interesting who people are voting for. And I'm like, does that say something about their trajectory in the book? Should I be reading into that at
You
all?
pay a lot of attention to that.
I've been paying a lot of attention to
This is
it.
the wheel of time. You shouldn't read in anything. There's definitely no like double
depth,
meanings and
there's no
subtle
nuance,
hints.
there's no-
Okay.
Our final.
Yeah, I think actually where you are in Fires of Heaven is where the book series is kind of over. It just basically stagnates from this point until the end.
Okay.
So
We could
yeah,
stop.
I don't think any
No.
of these characters actually really do anything more.
There's no further growth.
Nothing exciting
Not
happens in the rest of Fires of Heaven.
No, I didn't say nothing exciting happens. I just said nobody grows.
At all.
All of the characters are exactly the same as they are from now until the end.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just
Well, I think, assuming you're being sarcastic, that's why
I
the GRINWELL Cup
He
is
is.
going to be exciting every year. Because I'm like,
Yes.
oh, I have so much more understanding of these characters, / there are new characters to add.
which again is
You know.
why, like, when we get together and do the Marvel casting,
I'm very
then
excited.
it'll
Yes.
change every year.
It'll change every year. This will be our annual Marvel shtick.
Yes.
And it'll change too because the Marvel characters will change, but they
Yes,
don't
exactly.
really change. But they change a little. Like Thor went through it
Yeah.
Thor
recently.
went through it.
Wanda
And the Big Lebowski.
went
Wanda.
Can't spoil
through it.
WandaVision. People might not have watched
Wanda.
WandaVision.
Okay,
yet.
but we
All you
know
need
because
to-
of
We're just
Endgame
saying
that she's
Wanda
gone
went
through it.
I know. I just
We
want to
said
say
she's gone through
there's
it.
a lot. I liked WandaVision. Did you guys like WandaVision?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed with the ending, but I
Yeah.
can't talk about that here.
Yeah. Endings are hard. I get it.
I was
The
actually
cost-
super down.
The costume was really good. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes,
The
it was.
costume was really good.
The final
Ugh.
trinal is Galad
Talking about
versus
hot people.
Avienda versus Birgitte.
This will be hard, I think.
Andrew, you go ahead. You say it.
Oh, do I need to? Avienda. Come on.
You were asked.
I mean, yeah, I know, but I obviously like I am never quiet about my intense Avienda bias,
Mm-hmm.
which like saying it like that makes me feel kind of weird. But
Embrace it.
but
own
it's
it.
still accurate. I want Avienda to win, and I would be upset if she didn't. But that being said, I can also understand why people would vote for Brigitte. I don't understand why anybody would vote for Galad in that one, but you know, different
He's
strokes for
cute.
different folks.
I don't see Galad winning this.
I don't either.
You know what? I initially, when we first did this whole bracket, was like, it's gonna be Bair versus Lanfear versus Galad. And now I don't think so. And this is kind of the outcome we were hoping for, was that it would be something surprising. Like, we assumed Matt would be Aludra easily, and that didn't happen. We didn't think Nynaeve would make it this far. Like, mostly, not because Nynaeve's not hot, but just because we were like, well, canonically, these characters are supposed to be hotter than Nynaeve. And we learned very quickly that Nynaeve has her major stands. So.
Yeah, I was also going to say this actually says some really good things in a lot of instances of what the Wheel of Time fandom thinks is important.
Yeah.
Because again, Galad, Lanfear, would absolutely take the cake immediately if you just went off of description of most attractive Wheel of Time character. Every single time you see Darlin, Lanfear, and Galad, it is mentioned by Robert Jordan how just fucking enormously attractive they are. Every single time. And that's fine. That's actually good. It helps you understand them and where they're coming from and what other people see when they walk into a room. All of that different stuff. But this actually says a lot about what the Wheel of Time community thinks about hotness.
Yep.
It's not just about physical attractiveness. It's not just about who would I like to put my proverbial genitalia in and or on.
It's so much
about
more
so
than that.
much more than that.
Yeah, yeah. Which that's the point of this poll. That's why we started this thing. Is we were on a walk, and we had thought about doing some kind of like a fighting bracket, but there are other folks who do that, and they do it really well.
Yeah,
and we don't need to. We don't
want to step on
anyone's toes or jump in that ring.
You guys have done it exceedingly well, because doing a poll that's like we are doing a bracket to assess the hotness of characters, a lot of people are going to see that and initially immediately be like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
But because you've done it very well, you add in
Queen is an option.
Is a valid option.
It's a valid option.
So you have the options, and then the whole even made sure to include that attractiveness is subjective. It's whatever your metric of hotness is. It frames it in a way that kind of, at least for the most part, removes the problematic element of where, it's not like the I forgot what anime I was watching and somebody did it, but there was a guy in the anime that got in a lot of trouble because he did a ranking of the hottest female classmates, and he got in a ton of trouble in the
Mark
anime, this was anime.
No, I know it was.
I mean, Mark Zuckerberg could be any robot in any anime, but
truth.
But I mean, so you kind of remove that element. It's like, hey, this is hotness. use your view of hotness is and all and vote on it, and then you do things like this where you have people on and you talk about it, and inevitably the character elements get discussed, to at least up through chapter 15 of Fires of Heaven, which I can't wait for you to finish Fires of Heaven, because then you can understand why it's my favorite book.
I need to I want to finish the series so badly. Like, I keep saying to guys, okay, pitch, like, let's just read A Memory of Light and see what happens. And
No,
he's like,
no.
no.
So here's the question, I guess. So after you finish Fires of Heaven, are you then going to read New Spring, or are you going to finish the core 14 first?
We've talked about it. I think we're going to actually... I've gone back and forth. But I think we're doing New Spring earlier because of the show.
Yeah.
Specifically.
Fair enough.
We were going to do New Spring when, like...
We were going to do New Spring in publication order. So we were going to do it after... when does it? It comes after...
Sorry, it actually comes after 5. That's publication order.
If you finish Fires of Heaven, publication order is after 5. It's New Spring.
Really? I thought it was after 10.
Nope, it's after 5.
I don't know exactly when it was published, but that's like when the spoilers stop. Like, it's recommended that
When
you
the
don't
spoilers
read
stop.
New Spring
Absolutely.
until after book 5. Sorry.
Certainly. It's
I
the
think...
spoiler element.
It physically came out after 5.
Is my volume fine, by the way? Like,
Yeah,
is it like super high or super bassy?
You're good for us. Yeah, you're good on
for
our end.
us.
Oh. Kage song, I'm sorry that I'm making your subwoofer go crazy, but
You just
hopefully
have
it's
that
kind of
deep,
enjoyable.
sonorous voice, man.
Yeah, there we go.
New Spring came out in
Don't apologize for it.
2004. So...
Oh, what a glorious year. No bills, no car payments.
I was
Still in...
I was in middle school.
I think I just started middle school.
2004?
Because I was in 3rd grade in 2001.
Shit, it did. Okay, so that might have actually been
Oh my god, we're
after-
the same age.
Crossroads of Twilight. Yeah, it came out
Are you
after Crossroads.
28,
Damn.
Andrew?
I am 27. I'll be 28 in July.
Oh, I'm older than you. I was also in 3rd grade in 2001. I wonder why we have that benchmark. And then...
I have no idea.
I have no idea. And then,
Definitely wasn't a traumatizing TV display of mass genocide.
And then,
That
well,
was,
that was so nice of you to
Sorry.
say.
yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, we
That's what
wanted it to be not problematic, but like, because I'm the thirstiest podcaster and I think everyone's hot, like, I'm sure when I get to know Guidel Kane, I'm gonna be like, damn Guidel, I celebrate the hotness in every human.
I think the goal in this was to uplift everybody and their individual forms of beauty, rather than to sit hunched over a keyboard and go like, who I want to bang. That's not the point.
Okay,
right?
well, speak for yourself.
You can include that. That can be an element of it. But like,
I mean, if that's your hotness metric, then
This is why Gus sets up these polls and you just voted them.
Yeah. And I get to be like,
morning,
I think, well, I really wish I could vote for everybody. That's my problem.
That's the goal.
Is I really want to vote for everybody.
you really wish you could vote for Elida. You said everybody.
You're so right.
And Gawyn.
There are a few
Man.
I would not vote for
Man.
actively. Well, and that's not a hotness problem. That's a personality problem.
true.
That's a different.
That's a form.
But
That's
that's a
That's fair.
part of
So
the
I guess it
discussion.
depends on. I guess it
You
depends on if
say-
their personality plays into the
Yeah.
hotness.
No,
Yeah, I was gonna
personality
say,
for me
you
has a
say as
big.
though we haven't been including personality
It is a
in
major
many of
We
our
haven't talked about personality at all during the entire course of this discussion.
But to
so.
wrap up, what do we think? Brigitte, Galad,
Oh, yeah.
Avienda. We want Avienda to win. Who do we think will win?
I think Avienda will win.
I think Avienda will win
actually
too.
So
Or
I think
Brigitte.
the finale could be Min and or Nynaeve, Avienda, and maybe Bane and Chiad.
That
Yeah.
would
Or
be a lot of
Lanfear
Aiel.
or
It's a lot of
Lanfear.
Aiel.
That would
That's
be
a
lot
tough
of Aiel.
one.
I think I could see almost any combination.
Or Ruarck.
At
I
the
mean,
end.
Yeah,
But-
I will
yeah.
admit, I think that most people in the fandom won't let Galad go any further. I think he got where he is, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But I think he's hit his threshold. I think he's not making it into the finals.
I don't think so. I think if any of the big three make it into the finals, it will be Lanfear. But I don't think she'll
Yeah.
win.
and for good reason. Lanfear's very hot.
Yeah.
For good reason. Plus,
So I'm gonna say right now.
the Twitter presence is a lot of fun.
That's true.
I'll say that factors in to a certain extent.
Oh, I love Lanfear's Twitter account.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
So,
who do you think is the hottest? Who would you vote for? Me, or me?
Yeah, everyone go follow Lanfear on Twitter. Very fun.
Yes.
Yeah, a fun part of the community. So I think that does factor in. But yeah, I think it should be a really fun.
Actually have a pretty solid Twitter.
Bane and Shad has a great Twitter presence.
So
That's true
We're
too.
getting into the realms of some of the I don't want to say more popular, but some of the very popular accounts on Twitter as well. So
Character
it's going to be
accounts.
interesting also to watch them campaigning.
Yeah, when
As
Dave
themselves.
holds,
Yeah. But I'm
Dave Born
excited
campaigned
to,
really hard for
He
himself,
did.
which
He
is
tried.
I think why he got so many votes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some definite campaigning going on behalf of the character handles, and I thought it was
Part of why
hilarious.
we were so excited to do this on Twitter.
Yeah.
Bethany B on chat, by the way, is saying that New Spring was actually a short story collection, a short story published in a collection that then turned into a novella. So that might be what you guys are thinking of.
That might be what I'm thinking.
Thank you,
'cause,
Bethany.
yes, I think that's
I'm
actually
s-
true. That's why it feels like, again, you can actually technically watch or read it after 5,
Mhm.
because he published the first one, or he published like sort of the main New Spring story, if you will, of that after 5, and then expanded on it later and actually published as a standalone novel.
Yeah, I mean, there's
With
also the thing
idea that it was after 5, kind of.
and there's also the thing that, I mean, and this leads credence to what you're saying, is that there are things that you learn in New Spring that when you're reading the core 14, you don't find out until you finish book
Yes.
5.
Yeah.
So that's why I think a fair number of the fandom say read it after Fires of Heaven, because then you're not going to spoil anything you learn in New Spring.
Yeah. I recommend it after 8, because that's when you're actually fully spoilered out. There are actually a couple of things that you find out, and they're not big, and it's not that important. So again, you're not really doing yourself that much of a disservice reading it after Fires of Heaven, but you actually are completely spoiler safe after 8. That's when
Listen
you
to Daniel more than me because I haven't read it yet.
Really?
Well, again, all of the
It's like an ongoing thing right now. I
Spoiler
keep
stuff.
promising that I'm going to read it, and I have read the first page.
it's a situation where all of the important spoiler stuff, you will not be angry at all or frustrated at any spoilers that happen in New Spring by the time you've finished Fires of Heaven. But you technically meet people that you don't know about until later books
Mhm.
in New Spring.
Yep.
But I
And
think
so
That's why I
because of
wanted
the
to wait until book
show-
7, but I think with the show.
I think
we're gonna
because
hash
the
it out.
show we feel a little bit of pressure
No,
just in
it's-
case they reveal anything that's
yeah.
New Spring related, and I think Wheel Weaves is doing
Hmm.
the same thing. They're like, next book we're reading is going to be that, just because they've announced that they're going to release the show this year
Well,
at the end of this
Maybe
year.
I should read it in
Nerdist
time with
said
you
that, I'm not
guys.
sure.
Okay.
Do it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm going to read it in.
we
I
could
think-
all
I think that
we
might
could
be
all
what I'll do.
text about it. It would be so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll read it in
spoilers
time
up to
with you
Fires of Heaven
guys.
15 in chat. Yes, Sarmi.
Yeah, once
Thank
you guys
you.
actually said it was about the show, I was on board. I
That's
was
the
like,
main
yeah, that makes sense.
I wanted to wait until after we met a certain character whose name rhymes with lads who ran, but yeah, we can't do that. Anyway,
Yeah,
That was
we
the
all know
worst
about
vibe ever.
Bad Sedan.
Bad Sedan. I
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
Bad
all know
Sedan,
about Bad
yeah.
Sedan. She's a bad lady.
Well, this
We're
has
talking
been,
about the Toyota Camry.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
About the Toyota.
This has been so much fun.
yeah, this has been so
Thank
much
you.
fun.
Thank you
so
both
much.
for joining us. Will you tell?
Thank you for bringing
Thanks for bringing
us.
us.
Oh my God! Please, we're so grateful to have you, and thanks again for everything. Sorry, I'm tired.
You're good.
Where can folks follow you and listen to your podcast if they do not know about you yet?
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. I'm so glad that you just asked that, Gus. You can go to Black Tower Pod, spelled exactly like you think it is. blacktowerpod.com. That literally has all of our stuff for everything. It has a link for, I want to say, every single thing that we have going on there.
All except for one.
which is one of our sponsors, so it doesn't really count.
Oh no, it doesn't have the Twitch link yet.
Oh, that's fair. Okay.
Ah.
Because I got a stream deck because I saw Dusty Will had a stream deck, and we had talked about doing a Twitch way earlier, and we were like, no, we never live stream. And then I got the stream deck, and I'm like, we have to do more live streams. And so then we did the Twitch, and it was only after I made it that I was like, this looks very much like we're just trying to follow the Dusty Will template.
It's a good template.
But where he actually talks for the time.
Template to follow.
Yeah.
Where he actually talks for the time. We just take and play Minecraft, and then Daniel's going to be playing some games, I believe, on the Twitch.
Correct.
We'll spread it out.
You should play Valheim. It's very good.
Ooh,
Valhunt or Valheim?
Valheim.
It
Valheim.
sounds like you two need to play games together. Now I'm just going to make your bromance happen now that we're all in LA.
We have a Valheim server on the Straw Haired Chits Discord. It's quite
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Check it out. Anyway.
I've never played it, but yeah.
It's
It's pretty. It's very pretty. That's Black Tower. Again, thank you very much for being here. We're Wheel Takes. If you want to follow us, you're already here, and you can listen to us anywhere that podcasts are found, except Anchor for some reason. We're not on Anchor or iHeartRadio yet, and I don't know why, but I'm working on it. Other than that, anything else?
People are hot.
People are hot. We like them.
People are hot.
Keep checking out the polls. Thanks for coming, everybody. Bye.
Bye.